Welcome back. I'm Jackie Jing with Belly and Jesse. What a day 5
yes, I love
of Stage 2 so far. I know. Absolutely loving it. Dark Zero versus E United. That was just some great Siege to watch. Absolutely enjoying that. But now we are ready to roll into OXG versus Tempo. Jesse, you're smiling. I'm excited for this matchup too. I'm like,
yeah, should be good.
It's going to be a great day of Siege. I also know Jesse's smiling because he got his laptop finally. He's got a Predator 700. I have a Predator 900 right here. It is awesome possum, and it like flips. It has like a little iPad-y thing on it, a little touch screen. It's awesome. So yeah, thank you.
No, but seriously,
Look at us.
yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to Predator as well. This bad boy comes with a 2080 overclock. Like, honestly, these are really dang good laptops, right? So
Yeah.
for
They're
someone that
amazing.
travels a lot, we travel a lot for what we do with work. I'm very
Usually.
grateful to have these because I fell in love with this big time.
Predator, we love you. We
Yes.
appreciate you. Thank you so much for the amazing laptops. But it is time for
Let's go.
match 2, gentlemen. And let's start talking about OXG. Stage 2 hasn't really been good to OXG, let's
No.
be honest. Tempo beat them. DG took them to 3. Veli, what has been happening with this team? I mean, I still think they have it in them. They have this amazing X factor, but can they be successful today?
I feel like Oxygen, they can always be successful, right? But the thing is, they've been struggling big time, especially on attack, and that's been the scariest thing about this roster, right? So the one thing that I definitely noticed is that on attack, last play day, excuse me, not last play day, but against Tempo Storm last time, they played 3 maps. The first map, they won 2 rounds on attack. The second, 1. The third, 1. That is unacceptable, especially from a team that we all say, you know, they're the caliber to be contenders if they really want to. You have Vertical, you have Foxy, you got Laxing, Bio Slash. These are all players that have been there before. They've placed extremely well when it comes to tournament play. They're veterans. So this issue that they're having on attack, I really want them to look at. Most of the time, I mean, we see Vertical go in and he does his thing, but it's when the player falls. It's a refract coming. Are the trades going to be there? Is this team going to work together? And I hope that this team's particular strength of being individual guys doesn't become their weakness as they get spread out on maps sometimes, but it does work out for them as well. So it's like a double-edged sword. This team is a really interesting one.
Yes, definitely. And, you know, Jesse, teams have been trying to adapt to the new meta, and we were talking before the show, and you actually think OXG has been approaching this well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's always new things to come into the meta every 3 months when we get our new operators in. What I've really liked from Auction Esports is they've taken to the smoke plants quite a bit. Slash has been loving himself some Ace. They've been running it a ton. I don't think they've banned it a single time when they play him on most maps. And he's just, you know, he's so good at throwing down those smokes, sometimes planting in the smoke, sometimes baiting out where the smoke is to plant elsewhere. And so that's one element that I think some other teams haven't been quite as quick to pick up. But Auction Esports have really been abusing that mechanic. And so the smoke grenades on Ace have been really huge for Auction's, you know.
Yeah.
We've been critical of their attacks maybe, but when they have done well, I think a lot of it's come down to those smoke plants.
And we got to talk about their opponent, Tempo Storm. So let's roll into that. Tempo stormed into stage 2. Took down OXG, and we were all like, who is this? You know, but then
Don't
they
talk
looked
about
awful
it. No.
against TSM. It wasn't good.
No.
So, Veli, which Tempo are we going to see today? Which one?
Oh, I don't remember who said it. It was either Kix or you, Jesse, where one of you spoke to Kins, and Kins was like, yeah, everything just went completely wrong. Let's be honest. Tempo's not that bad. That was historically
that was bad.
I expect the tempo
Yeah.
that we saw last time against Oxygen. And the type of tempo that is Dreaming Creators getting a 30-piece in the series and just dominating their way through. I mean, being able to stop Foxy in his tracks and the rest of these players, that's what they're really good at. Jarvis, he's been doing extremely well for this team so far. He's been consistent. He's not the player that's going to take over, but he's the player that fills in a specific role they need as a support star. So for him to be there to help out Crazy, hold down the back lines as well, I think Tempo, this is a game they need to redeem themselves on because we need to get last week out of our memory, please.
Yeah, definitely need some sort of redemption after that. Jesse, so Tempo, not so good. against TSM at least. We've been driving that home. But the stats kind of reflect that after that matchup. And you actually found some anomalies that you found really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few interesting things about the numbers after that matchup. The first one was sort of an example of why headshot percentage can be a misleading statistic. Dream had a 100% headshot rating. That seems good on paper, but he also had a 0% survival rate, which speaks to how when he was hitting those heads, when he was getting that first shot, he wins the gunfights, obviously, but a lot of times he just wasn't able to land those shots, and he just missed all of them and died. And then on the opposite side of the coin, you had Mark hitting a 0% headshot rating, and also not playing very well. 27% cost was his final impact, which was quite low. Also, not really contributing to his survival rate or any of that. So that's really not great to come in from the stats. But I will say the entry was really surprisingly positive. We saw creators go +5 on the entry in that matchup, which shocked me after seeing the match, because it's hard to pick out where that even was, but he found it. And that's something they can utilize, and that's something where they had the advantage on auction the first time they played. They did win the opening engagements 20-13 in their first matchup against Auction Esports. So if they can utilize that a little bit better, if they can work with this man advantage, I think that Tempo Storm can still play well and they can still beat Auction Esports. They're just, they're going to have to play better than their match against TSM.
Jesse flexing his big brain here. He's like, I found some anomalies in the stats. We're like, what? Oh, and 100% headshot. That was a pretty funny one, though. But, all right, gentlemen. We are ready for the map selection process. That information coming down right now. So we're going to try to bring it up on your screens. And here you go. So let's break down what we're seeing from map vetoes.
Okay, Coastline Oregon Consulate chosen by Auction Esports. I mean, Tempo Storm just got 7-0'd here. That makes a lot of sense. This is also the only map that Oxygen won during the major, so it's a comfortable one for them for sure. The Villa pick also makes a lot of sense. They looked really good in their first best of 3 for Tempo Storm. So even their losses in stage 1, I thought in this map were really close. And then we get Clubhouse as well. So both of the maps where Tempo Storm got slammed last week, they'll get another shot, assuming this goes to 3. It was Tempo Storm's best map of the summer. So this is 2 maps now in a row that you've got previous strong results from Tempo Storm. Also 2 maps in the series where Tempo Storm have really weak results. So I'll be really interested to see how Tempo Storm have changed their strategies and adapt on the first and last map.
All right, gentlemen. Prediction time.
Let's go.
Veli.
All right.
What are you thinking?
After looking at the maps, the first map is going to be Consulate. Now, I always talk about momentum, but with Oxygen, momentum is always a thing as long as you got Laxi getting 4Ks, 3Ks along with everybody else on his roster. So I think the first map is going to be important to set the tone, and I think the team to do that is going to be Oxygen. I'm going all in with Oxygen. I feel like they're going to get their rematch, dub, and beat Tempo Storm.
Okay. All in on Oxygen.
Yes.
Jesse, how you feeling?
All right, I'm knocking on the door on the perfect 10-0 prediction for Phase 1. I've gone 9-0, and I'm really happy about it. I know. I think I want to go Auction Esports for this one. Consulate,
okay.
I think Villa will be a really strong map for Tempo Storm. I expect them to take Villa, but with these last 2 maps, like Consulate and Clubhouse, these are going to be ones where we've seen Tempo Storm struggle in the past, right? So I am expecting Auction to utilize that and take it. We could see some adaptations, we could see some changes, but for now, I've got to go with Auction. They feel like the strongest pick in my mind.
Okay, both of you going with Oxygen. Well, let's start to get things rolling. What, Veli?
This could be a good game. This could go either way, Jackie.
I know. I really think it could go either way, too. Oh, man. I'm excited to get this one started, though. But before we get into it, really quickly, if you don't already, please make sure you follow us. We got a Twitter account. We got an Instagram account. And there's always very important information dropping and just some ridiculous, funny stuff. So please, just go follow there. And also, we have our community poll result coming up, so we really encourage you to participate in that. And Blue and Stokes, yay! We can't wait to see them. So all that coming up. We cannot wait to get this underway. OXG versus Tempo Storm. We will be back in a flash. Don't go anywhere.
I think a reason that we didn't make it to the August major is definitely because we just weren't all working together like we should have been at the time. Our game was off, but coming into next season, we fixed a lot of those mistakes, and I'm feeling confident.
We didn't make it to the August major because we didn't shoot enough people in the head.
I think to improve our standings going into next stage, we're going to have to get some rounds on the board, you know? Get those points, move up in the standings, get to where we got to be.
How I'm approaching the game for stage 2 is definitely making sure everything I do with the team, execute with the team, and get the job done.
I had to improve one skill of mine. I wouldn't be able to tell you because I'm just like pretty much perfect.
If I could go back and change anything about my gameplay from the stage 1 split, then I think I would have worked on myself and picked Ash a lot more.
I'm sick of losing. I'm sick of being in the bottom 4. I want to win. I want to hold the trophy up on stage. I want to be up there with my team, and I want to win.
I want to win. I want winning. I like winning. I do winning. Winning. We're doing winning next season. Win.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is just about time to begin our second game between Tempo Storm and Oxygen Esports. I'm here with Stokes once again, ready to cast this match. And Stokes, let's get some of your opening thoughts. What do we think is going to be happening in today's match here?
Well, they broke it down super well on the analyst desk. I'm just going to shout out Jesse for that once again, looking through all of these maps and really getting into the nitty gritty. But I have to agree with him on many fronts here. I feel like Tempo's got a good shot up against Oxygen. I just dropped the tweet as well that I think Tempo's going to win, but I'm kind of just trying to spite Jesse. I think Oxygen's got a really, really good chance to come back and show Tempo what they've been working on. The improvement for Oxygen has to be inside of that team play category. They need to play more off of each other. If we see an improvement in that, I can definitely see them winning in this series.
All right, we'll be figuring out who is going to be correct about that. As usual, we have our community poll question, folks. It's a rematch from our first play day. Will we see Tempo Storm get another great performance from creators, or will Laxing take over this matchup for Oxygen? Be sure to let us know over on our socials, most notably on our Twitter account at R6esportsNA. The tweet should be going out any moment now if it hasn't already. Go ahead and submit your votes. We'll have the results a little bit later on in the show. I think that the maps for this series have worked out to be pretty interesting once again, too, is, if I remember correctly, pretty similarly to back when these teams first played for the first time back during week number 1. We kind of get one map that's great for one team, one map that's bad for one map that's great for either team, and then we end up on a pretty equal third map. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. Let's not waste any time, though. Consulate, our first map, and the pick from OXG is starting right now. So let's head in-game and take a look at the bans.
I'm gonna completely agree with you on those maps, by the way. I think that the one that stands out the most to me would definitely be Villa. Oxygen 0-5 on it in the last 3 months. Not gonna be the most amount of fun, but we're on Consulate right now. Oxygen just have a winning record on this map. They're 2-1, whereas Tempo is 1-2. We're gonna be removing Thatcher from the map as well, but that's something that we're used to. Let's see how bad the offense is gonna be hindered here. Ace is gonna be up next, so gonna see a lot of Maverick tricking.
And to go back to the map statistics here for OXG, the wins they do have on record are against a pretty prominent team. They're both against SSG. The loss they have as well on record is against TSM, and it's a 7-5. So that one even looks pretty close when you take a deeper look at the overall scores. Tempo obviously struggling a little bit more on this map, but they have their own series of successes too, just to a lesser degree. So we're going to have to see if they've made up for that now in this first map against Oxygen, as if not, Oxygen could be looking to take some early quick control here for a 1-0 lead. Valkyrie and Wamai are going to be our 2 defender bans, and we'll get to the end of that and head straight into round number 1.
Oh, Oxygen going to be starting on the offense. This map, kind of a teeter-totter depending on the teams that are playing it, mainly because of the tertiary site, that third site that you have to go to. A lot of teams have a struggle choosing which one's going to be more successful. A lot of teams avoiding upstairs now and heading towards split site. We'll have to see what Tempo Storm wants to do once we get there. But for the first round, we're started off downstairs with what seems to be a roam setup with this Mozzie and Mute coming in.
See, of course, how all that is going to play out. So we get into the actual round here. Take a better look at what the teams are going to set up for themselves. But as Stokes is just talking about, Tempo definitely going to be setting themselves up in the basement. But good emphasis on the roam play will come in once the round actually begins here, with Crazy, more than likely creators helping out with that dream, a possibility to try to get aggressive too. But more than likely, he'll be staying closer to the actual site. once the action gets rolling here, which we'll see that boil up in just a second. As far as the mirror windows are concerned, these are going to be pretty standard too. You've already got the one on the closed cafeteria wall. Should be a second one going up here at any second on the wall that Mark just reinforced. And there it is, right on cue. So you've got your standard mirror set up for this site as well. Nothing crazy going on there.
Yeah, rest of the utility for Tempo Storm just dedicated around the garage area. We see some Banshees getting set up by Jarvis inside, as well as a couple other things strung out across the map. We have a reinforcement all the way upstairs inside of Connector as well, with creators currently inside of there. So we'll see if this roam game works out for Tempo Storm. Oxygen do have all of the tools, which means they have the means to handle this, especially with those air jabs. And they're going to be needing that verticality in order to get that garage open.
So let's take a look here, see exactly what the opening gambit is going to be for OXG, what they're going to look to try and get control over first. Already some pressure going up against Crazy to try to force him out. Mainly just coming from the drones right now. No one on OXG actually going to go for the outright flush this early on here. He'll still maintain control for the foreseeable future. Could be a pretty short future, though, when you look at the fact that there's already some admin control going over to OXG with Vertical taking quick control here, in addition to the pressure out on the balcony that we've already seen Crazy deal with as of a few seconds ago. Besides that, though, not much going on. It does look like Crazy's been forced back a little bit closer towards Connector. That's not going to be stopping OXG too much, though. They're going to continue to clear things out, and when push does come to shove, we'll find that Crazy does have to fall back completely and does not have enough good positioning to be able to take a fight here. That'll now fall to Creators if he gets an opportunity to do so, as he's back over here on yellow stairs. Crazy does make an attempt to get some damage in with the Nitro Cell, but no connection looking at the HP of the OXG members there.
So far, a very successful roam game here from Tempo Storm, reading the room very well, backing off when needed, but still staying close enough to be able to get some frags. Creators might end up with the very first one here, that M590 working so well up against Vert, not knowing anyone would be playing very aggressively. They've done a very good job of cutting up the map, at least on the top floor. They just weren't ready for the transition to that mid-level. Fox 8 going to be the first one inside for Oxygen on this mid-level. They still need some picks to be able to get this site open, and they haven't even worked on the garage yet because Crazy still has this vertical control.
A little bit of damage going on in Creators there. I believe that's coming in from a frag grenade. The follow-up from Bio is successful to take him down as well. And Foxay also going to have some success here as he's finally able to isolate Crazy and eliminate him. Hatches should be getting opened up if there is a priority to do that. Any second here from Foxay. Was looking like he was going for something back in the main lobby, but threw himself away from that. Is now rotating to a completely different position. He may have to do garage duty from the looks of things. We'll see exactly how that all pans out in a moment, though. We do still have the electric claws on those hatches, though, and that would explain why Foxay does not go for the breaches there that I was talking about a moment ago. Away from this, there's easy top-down control in the hands of Bio right now over by Piano, which means there's no successful attempts that are going to be made to stop the garage from being opened. You can immediately see the counter coming in right there when they do try to do that. The second wall will get opened shortly afterwards. So Bio does a great job making sure that none of the denial from Tempo is successful here, and that Oxygen in a nice quick opening. The problem is, it's quick, yeah, but there's only 15 seconds remaining now for them to get into the site, and they've only got it down to a 4v3. Will they actually be able to push their way through? Well, we're finding out right now. Slash will make the first attempt at it. Players from Tempo are trying to push forward and prevent this plant, but so far it's all unsuccessful. The plant goes down with just a couple seconds remaining, and OXG has great control in the post plant. It's all going to come down to Dream and Jarvis to try and retake this.
Slash with an opening pick here makes this a 4-1 situation for Jarvis on pipes, but Slash nips it in the bud. Oxygen walks away with the first round after some good patience upstairs. Got the two big picks that they needed to get that vertical control. Even though the delay happened down to that last minute, they still had plenty of time to break up the flooring, get the garage open, and eventually go for a plant. Tempo just getting a touch too aggressive, and they really didn't have too much to actually prevent the plant from going down. They had to play for the Nitro Cell throws, which did not work out for them at all, and Oxygen did a very good job of clearing out most of the utility inside of garage that would have made it a very difficult time to get that diffuser down, specifically those Banshees and the frag grenades being used by Bio up top. So Oxygen picking up the very first round after a pretty nice plant. Tempo Storm immediately changing things up, and you can't blame them, especially after such a good roam game. Much rather throw it towards lobby and see if it sticks.
Great sign at the beginning of the series here for OXG. One of the issues that we saw Oxygen running into when they played Tempo Storm last time was the problems that were often surfacing with their attack and being unable to put anything together, especially when it came to mid-round plays. Obviously not the issue here, but only one round having been played, we don't want to make too stark of a judgment this early on. Let's wait and see how Tempo will look to adjust for things and try and make this a little bit more palatable as they move around to different sites. Now, of course, going to be in lobby, so still a lot of upstairs play going to be coming in here for Tempo. In fact, probably a little bit more than we saw in the previous round due to how important it is for the defenders to maintain control up here because of their capability to stop most plant attempts if they continue to do so. So Creators and Dream more than likely going to be sticking around for a good amount of time. Mark as well in a different spot in the map here. Going to be working to provide them as much intel as possible.
Well, it seems as though Oxygen wants to walk right into the belly of the beast upstairs and deal with it straight up. Not a bad plan either with the my band coming in. There's going to be a lot less burn needed to get some pressure onto Dream inside of Projector. OXG already having control of admin and working their way towards long haul, but this is exactly what Mark's positioned downstairs for with that cardiac sensor. He's going to get a good read on the situation upstairs to be able to assist Dream, whatever other member of Tempo Storm is lying in wait.
Bio's going to reposition here, looks like momentarily, so he'll hop out of the window and work himself towards a different segment of the map. Creators, who did try to take a fight over there, and CEO just a moment ago is going to get found out by Foxay on the rappel. A couple seconds later, eliminating him in one of the first holds upstairs here. Next up on the plate, more than likely going to be Dream. Already drones being hyper-focused onto him. And of course, Foxay, I believe, once again, coming in here to try and deal some damage. May not be Fox. I'm not so good with my silhouettes, so we'll have to see that from that player's perspective. But we'll get confirmation on that in a moment. This Dream is going to be pressured here over the next few seconds. He's got a good read on it, though, but he doesn't spot that drone just past the doorway. Catches it now, but it's too late as Slash makes the play and successfully takes him out. Adding yet another kill for OXG here as they bring it down to a 5v3.
Of all the operators to peek that door, it's Thermite that gets the job done, even though he still has an exothermic charge inside of his pocket, but that doesn't mean the gun doesn't work. Nice pickup there by Slash to open up the upstairs, and now Oxygen's got a very nice control of the situation. Tempo Storm still do have control of Yellow, and they have prevention downstairs, but the area they really have to worry about is lobby.
Crazy having to get a little bit aggressive here from the looks of things. Also a mirror window here, which does not appear to let him see through it, but I'm going to assume that's a bug on our end, not actually on his end. Either way, players will start moving through here. Some fire coming through onto that mirror window there to try to prevent any peeks, but no attempts from the other side, and Laxing strikes yet again here. Bio finding success on that second attempt to take out the player behind the mirror window, and does just that. And Foxay rolls in here to eliminate Jarvis, netting OXG a flawless round so far. A beautiful performance in these first two rounds, taking care of business, just running down the checklist and getting through these rounds without struggling too much.
Yeah, I might not want to have sent that tweet. Might have been a bad idea.
Yeah, your prediction for Tempo's not looking too good right now.
It really isn't,
two rounds,
but it's
though, so.
Yeah, but it's not Tempo's fault necessarily. They're not exactly playing poor. It's that Oxygen are playing much better than what they were previously. And I like that they're starting it off on constant as well. This is a map that we've seen OXG have some success with before, specifically Foxay. I think everybody remembers that clip of him walking around Banana and just frying everyone his pulse. So it's nice to see them starting to get back to their bread and butter. But it's more of a patient Oxygen than it is anything. There's really no aggressive front. I mean, unless you want to call the Thermite pick a aggressive front. But even then, Oxygen looking really good on these offenses and working off of each other well. And as you said, the checklist being done appropriately where they aren't overstepping their boundaries, where Tempo can possibly get some, inkling of success inside of the round.
Yeah, it's very clinical looking right now from OXG, and it's probably going to continue to be that way unless Tempo tries to throw a wrench in the gears here. Haven't really seen that be too successful as of yet, at least based on the play from the first two rounds. Tempo's also going to continue to shift sites. They've yet to repeat any of the first two they've tried to play here, and are going to play into a third one instead now as we head to the split site, oftentimes being the successful one for a lot of defending teams that can't find success elsewhere. So let's see if that'll be the case from Tempo. They're bringing the old standard here of 4 nitro cells. As you can tell from their equipment on the right side, definitely going to be trying to play into the basement and deny as much plant potential as possible here.
We'll see if Tempo can possibly be successful on this defense as well. Bringing Creators along for the ride with the Oryx. And Oryx, a pretty unique operator that we're beginning to see a little bit more play from. He's quite the fun operator to roam with, specifically because he can jump up hatches that are open, as well as open them himself with that Bailiff secondary. So there's a lot of tools to his kit you can possibly use to catch some people off guard. Oxygen still bringing the anti-roam as well as the anti-hop out, if that's exactly what you want to call it. The air jabs in Laxing's pocket there with the Nomad, which could be used to keep Creators inside of a box. But Oxygen, once again, taking their time, using those drones appropriately, as well as adding Jackal to the mix, be able to help with this roam game. They know that somebody has to try and get some early picks here to make this split site work.
A little bit of dodge work there from creators, and unfortunately it's not going to lead to much. Foxay just cannot be escaped from, it seems, so far in this match. Once again, hunting down a player early on in the round here. Creators goes bye-bye, and so does some of that roaming capability from Tempo. It's going with OXG being up to a good start. That more likely means that any of the remaining roam presence, if there is any from Tempo, is going to have to play passively here, looking to try and set things up. And, well, let's be honest, there isn't much roam presence. All 4 players that are still alive for Tempo are now down in the basement, trying to deny more than anything any successful attempts from OXG to get their plant down here. They're still focused primarily upstairs in the meantime, though, but they are starting to shift onto the first floor, as you can see with players like Foxay, and another one also vertical there, working their way down the second floor stairs over here towards Visa, and eventually into Tellers, where they'll more than likely attempt their plant. I mean, still with plenty of time to do this as well. 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining. OXG have all the luxuries in the world at the moment. They just have to be very careful, of course, about the planting due to the 4 nitro cells, or at least 3 that are still in the arsenal of Tempo.
Hey, they're doing a very good job of setting up for the split take, all except for Slash taking quite a bit of damage. He'd have been the second kill to happen this game for Tempo Storm's favor, but it'll just still continue to be only vertical. They need that rush downstairs to work here, but it's not going to. Dream with the first pump, dumps vertical, but it seems like the diffuser's going to go down anyways, even though the pulse remained alive. Oh no, now Tempo Storm have to force themselves up these staircases, which are held so well by Oxygen.
Can see great angles being set up by them here. Slash is going to get taken down, though, which potentially brings us down to a 2v4 if we're to assume no one gets Slash up. There's going to be an attempt made at that, though. Foxay goes for the res, and looks like he's going to be able to get it. Air jab will be triggered. Possibly another one going off here in a second, but they're going to try and get the kill before they even have an opportunity to do that. Oh, no! A saving grace comes in, but it's not close enough, as Mark will still be taken out, but Jarvis at least gets the trade. Foxay is now going to be left as the last man standing, denies the first attempt here of a player trying to get on counter defuse, goes for the second one and confirms that one as well. Bye-bye to Crazy. Dream, the last man standing here, could end up being a massive 4K from Foxay, and he's going to go for it now. There we go. The last remaining player from the other side doesn't even attempt it, as he knows he's a dead man there, so just lets it go, takes the L on the round, and that's going to be another win for OXG.
Well, 2 rounds with the plant and 1 flawless round. So I'd say Oxygen is playing lights out right now on this offense. Is going to be the full rotation from the defense. They didn't end up picking a round that could go wherever they wanted to the entire time, but they ended up shifting sites every single time. We're headed back downstairs to see if Tempo Storm can fix any of this, and this is just really, really good siege here from Oxygen. Tempo Storm not being allowed to do a lot of these niche things that they're trying to do, specifically in that last round with the Oryx off doing his own thing. They had every single window covered, as well as the Jackal track on him to keep that intel rolling, locked him down, and then progressed into the later half of the round with some pretty good plays. I mean, they locked down the map, locked down the staircases, air jabs were in great places. Tempo Storm just almost had it on that retake, specifically from Yellow, where they were able to actually get this, ball rolling. Oxygen still able to shut it down, though, as Foxay rotated upstairs, picked up the down slash, and was able to clutch out the round. Oxygen up 3-0 right now. Tempo Storm, guys, you got to fix something. It's these early picks right now. I mean, even on their last garage defense, they did a very good job of delaying time, but eventually the 2 big picks came through, and they weren't able to find anything to either slow down or prevent that plant.
Tempo desperately need to get Foxay under control. 6-0 right now he's running with there on the scoreboard, and even away from that very obvious issue there, so many of the roamers getting picked off early in the round. Tempo's going to need to make a call here, either to peel that back or set up better support structure for those roamers, that at least in the event they go down, as has so often been the case here at the beginning of the round, there could be a potential opportunity for a trade at a minimum. But that's been difficult because a lot of the kills that Oxygen have been getting have been potentially from windows, which a lot of the time don't really present good opportunities to be tradable here. Just like this, in fact, I believe. Crazy going to get taken down, and there's a good possibility that that happens actually from the inside of admin, looking at it now. That's Bio, I'm pretty sure, shooting it through the soft wall. Remember, there's no points on, so he doesn't actually have confirmation that he downed Crazy yet, but he's got a pretty good idea of it, as he's looking around pretty hard for the body, actually looking to get a second one, but instead he's going to get a bullet thrown in his face by Jarvis. Thankfully, Laxing will still be able to get the confirmation off on a Crazy, so it's going to be a 1-for-1 to start things out.
Very surprised that Bio ended up making that mistake there, but that's going to be a 1-for-1, as you said. The sledge off the board now, and that's actually a very big pick. Gonna need something else to do this vertical work, which more than likely lands on the shoulders of Vertical. No one carrying breach charges right now either, so only going to be able to create 2 holes there, but that's really all you need when it comes down to it if you're in a desperate area to get vertical play inside of Piano. Oxygen now want to start work on the garage. Slashug has rotated all the way outside and is now waiting on his teammates to get rid of that mute jammer, but that means that they need Piano control. That's what Oxygen's setting up their vision for right now, as well as trying to prevent anyone from coming up banana. Impact is going to get rid of the air jab, so they're going to have to be aware of that for the rest of the time, at least here in round 4. Oxygen with this mid control now. Just need to get this garage open, and we can start off on these plants. It's been going pretty well so far. Laxing with a big 2K. More than likely got that on the back stairs angle, downstairs into lockers that we saw Slash die from, or excuse me, Bio die from a little bit earlier on.
Now, Laxing certainly getting revenge for the death of his teammate a few moments ago here. Mark potentially going to have some pressure on him in a moment as he's trying to take a much more forward position in hopes of swinging this round back under his team's control. Has to be careful, of course, due to the obvious garage breach set in front of him now. But actually, he's going to make the aggressive move, and unfortunately for him, Foxy, already well mounted on that angle, is going to be able to take out Mark with no problem whatsoever, and in the process failed to deny the second opening. Not that it was even really needed at this point. Nitro Cell goes in. That'll stop the plant at a minimum, but no one else close enough to get some chain damage onto that one, so just Slash going down. It's still a 1v3. A good start of a clutch attempt here from Dream, but he's not going to be able to take it that far. Laxing ends the round with his 4th kill on that round, and puts OXG even further ahead here. Right now, they are dominating on consulate attack.
I love how Oxygen is working their offenses here on console. They're playing the windows extremely well, and they're using their early intel to dictate how they're going to handle the round. They've done a very good job of dicing up the map and actually pinching onto these, these last couple of players, or if the roam game's going on. Either or, Oxygen overall great on pinching on this information. I mean, even down to that 3v1 there. We even saw it come out from Laxing coming all the way from Locker's hallway, I believe down the admin staircase, ended up having the off angle that he exactly wasn't ready for. And Oxygen, if they continue down this, I don't really see Tempo getting around. I mean, this is just beautiful siege played out by Oxygen here. Fuse coming in as well in place of the Habana. I didn't see which site. We're going back downstairs, so that's actually going to have a lot of presence here. I mean, Fuse, if you guys didn't know, he now has 4 cluster charges, left-hand side of your screen there, as well as I'm pretty sure they added an extra hockey puck to his ability there. So he has a little bit more explosive impact, as well as an entire another set of those cluster charges and secondary hard breach. So there's a lot of stuff that's in Fuse's kit now. We don't still see him get played too often just because of how prominent the obvious audio is when you set down a cluster charge. But when you have that control and they're actually able to get used, they can cause devastating effects.
Well, folks, you saw it there on the screen a moment ago. Don't forget, we've got some new skins in the store for all of the leagues, like the smoke set for the NAL. Be sure to go ahead in game and check those out. It's a great opportunity to directly support Rainbow Six Esports and your favorite teams. Jump on that opportunity to grab some of those new skins before they are gone.
Also has one of the coolest charms in the game, guys, for the NA one. It's smoke holding our NAL logo. So make sure you go get that. It's pretty cool. It looks pretty good on the recent skins, Anyways, now jumping into round 5, folks. We're back downstairs like we were talking about earlier. Exact same setup here from Tempo Storm. We're going to have the smoke. I do believe he is a new addition to this lineup, as there is not going to be a Mozzie or anything else of the sort, or a mute brought along. So Crazy just focused on sight, and can't exactly blame them. It's really came down to the sight execute for Oxygen on these round wins, but it's been influenced by those picks. Nevertheless, though, Fox, they're going to be starting things off in this mid-level here with the first cluster charge going off, and it seems as though this has been practiced. You can see he's putting these in pretty precise areas lined up with things. You can continually see him looking around in order to make this a little bit easier for him on these lineups, but now, might as well just start slapping them down and seeing what you can get. Jarvis with a nice pick, though, onto Bio. Once again, the sledge getting picked off early.
And he had a quick fallback hatch actually in the closet back by front lobby, I think. You can see it right there. So he's able to get out of there, get himself into a safe position where no one from OXG can currently really follow him too, unless they want to take the angle from the top of the hatch. No one showing much interest in that. So OXG really for the first time in this entire round having to try and fight from the back foot here. You can see we still, it looks like we have a cluster charge ready to be deployed, but hasn't been thrown out just as of yet. So Foxy with an opportunity to do that and cause some chaos here in a few seconds when the opportunity presents itself. Other than that, we can see Mark, unfortunately for him, being backed up into a corner. He's going to have to try and find a way to stay alive and hopefully find some impact here, as he no longer has the mirror window to support him. There's a top-down angle working against him as well. So a lot to play against currently. And that's good news for the OXG rosters. They don't have to worry about the mirror angles as much. Still one over here on the inside of security, though. Crazy. We're going to be mounting this one, and we'll have to try his best to see if he can find any impact from it. Flash is coming his way, but it's not too much trouble to be able to dodge that. In the meantime, some damage finally coming out on the mark, as I believe that is the cluster charge that was placed way long ago in the round that is going to be able to take him out. Nitro Cell goes out, but it's thrown too short and is taken down. A series of trades is going to bring this into a 3v3 as Oxygen battles it back into an even man count. First attempt at the plant now going down as well, and unfortunately, Tempo doesn't seem to have a good way to stop this, but Jarvis certainly going to make an attempt. Unfortunately, misses the hitbox, though, when he tries to take him out, so the diffuser does go down, and even though he kills the planter, it's traded anyway by Vert. Jarvis just going to go straight for the defuse attempt. Does anyone on Oxygen realize this is happening? No, it could just be a straight-up ninja defuse, and it looks like it's going to go through. Jarvis steals the round for Tempo, and they're going to take one for free right out of the hands of OXG.
Well, that's a way to get around. I mean, just
Certainly
walk into the
is.
diffuser and start diffusing it. Why not? There was a lot of positives instead of that last round for both of these teams. Tempo, a much more structured setup for them, much more patience as well. Almost went sideways when that cluster charge ended up picking up a frag and equalizing man count, mainly because they really needed that body count alongside their utility to fight back on that plant. I mean, they really only had a nitro cell for true prevention to actually kill the guy, as well as those 3 smokes that we saw coming in from Crazy. But I mean, overall, when it came down to getting the diffuser down and playing the post plant, it was a nice setup there for Oxygen. I just don't think that they were in earshot of the man actually diffusing it. So Tempo, very good use of Oxygen's negligence to check the diffuser so early on. I mean, that was really it. That was Oxygen's round through and through.
And Jarvis, I think, realizing that, props to him for making a play right there, realizing that there may be a possible opportunity to ninja it and being right on that as well, fully committing to it and coming out on top. Finally putting one on the board here for Tempo after what seemed like just an endless string of success for OXG. Now finally running into some issues. We'll have to see how they look to quickly adapt. And Tempo going to work their way upstairs, I believe, for the first time in this half, if my memory serves me correctly. So we'll see how the upstairs site is going to treat them and how Oxygen will look to deal with that. They've had no issue getting control of areas like admin when Tempo has had roaming setups up here previously, but now we're going to see if that's going to be a little bit different with potentially the full 5-man roster minus maybe 1 or 2 roamers now present on this floor for the entire round.
This is quite the setup here from Tempo Storm, specifically operator-wise, having Clash come in with Pulse and Doc, so could see some early aggression. That's exactly what we're going to see from Creators, as well as Mark go downstairs just for that intel game. This setup seems to mostly be placed off of how Crazy is going to play this out. He's the most amount of the delay on the team besides Dream, but obviously you don't want those toxic babes to get burnt too early if you can stop it from happening. Mostly focused around yellow right now. Oxygen, this is going to be their first time attacking this setup, as it is being brought out fresh here inside of round 6.
Some flashbangs going into the window there. That's to burn out the ADSs, which are set up on the pillar. You can see them being shot out right now, and the final one has been burnt, so both these players are going to get blinded temporarily here. We do see a little bit of the hard breach work going out. Jarvis trying to take a duel against the player on the other side, which I believe is Slash, but losing that one. He goes down to under 25 HP. We can say similar things for Mark, as it looks like he ends up in a small skirmish as well, but he returns some damage. And now, as we can see, Craters taking up another angle. He's going to try to fire back against some of the action that's been going on back over at the skylight there, but again, not much success in finding any damage from the defender's perspective. Tempo still fighting from the back foot a little bit, but they've kept everyone alive. So OXG still looking for their initial advantage, and now they're going to find it as Slash strikes from the window, fulfilling the role that Foxy's been doing for most of this half so far, and taking out Jarvis first this time.
And this has been the major problem for Tempo Storm. Oxygen just so damn good at working these windows, and that's exactly what Consulate plays like. It's a window simulator. You're going to have to continue to fight these angles where people are able to move pretty quickly on that rappel, and that's going to be a big pick as well, but immediately refrag from Creators through that vertical angle that we saw him standing on top of earlier. So a nice trade here, but not favoring Tempo Storm in the slightest. That's your Pulse gone, the Nitro Cell, as well as the Cardiac Sensor, all on the floor now, and Oxygen have man count.
Yeah, potential missed opportunity there for Creators if we did end up seeing Foxy jump in that window initially, not only, of course, to get that frag, but to potentially save his teammate, and now he's going to suffer the consequences of that. Bio taking out Creators here bringing it down to just Crazy and Dream. One of them, of course, being on a Clash, so that having a somewhat limited usability in this 2vx scenario. We'll have to eventually switch off that shield and start getting ready to gunfight with that secondary pistol. And in the meantime here, Dream trying to rotate around the back angles and actually finding a free opening here vertical. Not being aware of that potential swing from Dream. Does get one for free here. And now is just trying to delay and, more importantly, assist his teammate in any way necessary to try and stop this plant from happening, as they have been flushed out of that main console site. And see, though, Crazy doing a good job of forcing himself back in, taking a little team damage from the smoke, but that's not going to matter too much. As long as he continues to waste time and prevent the plant, he's winning right now. But in the meantime, Slash going to go back, trying to make yet another attempt at the plant. Finally, a swing from Dream, and it won't work out, and it's not too long before Crazy is also taken out a moment later by Slash. Success found from OXG. It gets a little close on the time, but that's been the way we've been playing Siege for a while. Even some moves there to try to make the kill happen, but not going to be the case there. Oxygen win it out again, and now go up to 5.
Now, the success of the Clash smoke there really begs the question on if the rest of Tempo Storm kind of slowed down their pacing instead of getting so aggressive towards Oxygen's window play that they could have had a successful round there. I mean, that was some very, very good delay. I was very surprised on how effective the Clash was inside of CEO and how long it lasted with the amount of separate angles that they had. Some good play there as well on the end just to work the outside angles, rotating back in with the smoke to peek the top of admin stairs. Some good stuff there from Tempo Storm, but all in vain at the end of the day. 5-1 split in favor of Oxygen as they're now on the defensive side. They're headed downstairs this time. Let's see if the synergy is as good on defense as it was on offense.
See that indeed. Setup here for OXG is going to go towards Goyo for their basement defense. No Mira in sight, which is something that Tempo was using religiously when they went onto this basement site. It's going to be a little bit different here, as we will be trying to delay after the breach happens instead of directly trying to prevent it. You'll note that there's not going to be a bandit or a Kaid to get into the way of that either, so Tempo's going to be getting the garage open very early, but it'll take a little bit longer to find the security they need to actually go for their plant.
Okay, well, Oxygen setting up all the way upstairs as well. And the interesting one, Laxing putting reinforcements down inside of projectors. So it looks like they're going to have a extended roam game with some assistance upstairs. No ADSs or anything of the sort, but Laxing is going to impact the table to make some vertical play downstairs here towards the front door. Could get a nice pick if somebody wants to play this area, as well as a Banshee there to support. So Laxing also has an audio cue. There's a couple different layers to this setup. I like this coming out from Oxygen.
Foxy is going to hear the visa window getting opened. Not a lot of intel for him to play off of those. Obviously, Valkyrie's banned out, so no chance for any cameras to be deployed out there. They've only got what they were able to scramble from their defaults before they quickly got shot out, and of course, what they can gather from those audio cues. Creators is going to be heard jumping into admin, and it looks like he's got one other teammate joining him as well, based off of what I can hear. But it's only the start of this, as of course, you still have those players very well secured on the inside of Projector, and from the looks of things, CEO as well. Laxing will be challenged first, and he's actually not even going to stick around for very long. Backs up, gets himself through his fallback hatch, and is now going to be waiting above a different one on the inside of lobby to potentially make a play here if the opportunity presents itself.
Well, he is going to need some assistance from a teammate if he does end up needing some help here. If they pop that, he should be able to sit on the corner.
This is cool.
Oh, nope, never mind. Laxing ends up getting dropped instead, so that's very unfortunate. Not able to work the outside pixels of that hatch. So now downstairs, but it's not the worst thing in the world. All of Oxygen still alive here, and this is not something that we could say the same for Tempo at the same time on a very similar site. So Tempo Storm now have vertical control. They just need to work these angles and get this garage set up for themselves. The rest of Tempo Storm still clearing out the building. Good on time as well. Minute and 5 seconds remain as they get the wall open. The only bad thing is, as there is a lot of utility still to burn through from Oxygen on their defensive site. Nitro Cell thrown out by Foxe off of the Goyo shield. Catches nothing, so no damage done with that. Gone fishing a little bit too soon. Some frag grenades, as well as the rest dedicated from Tempo Storm to start clearing some things up.
Yep, and that's all going to be done primarily by Mark here. The frag grenade to take out the Evil Eye sitting below White Van. Quickly taking out the other Goyo shield on the left side of this breach, which you're going to see in just a moment here as the second Exo is used to open up the remaining portion of the garage window that Tempo want to open for themselves. Only 30 seconds left to make the play, though it's definitely enough. But with the still being down to a 5v5, 5. There's a lot of potential unknowns that they're going to have to work with, including players swinging on them here. It's going to start out okay, though, as they'll trade it 1 for 1, but now they've got to be careful. Moving in past this point, of course, especially with their diffuser having gone down to the ground, is going to risk quite a bit, and it's not looking good here as we see Vertical with a nice catch, taking out Jarvis just as he tries to swing down from Spiral. Everything's on Mark and Creators now. Mark having to join after he took care of so much of the utility back up in Piano. Creators does get deep enough into the site to make a plant attempt, but it's not going to be enough. No additional control for Tempo's remaining other teammate there. Leaves pretty much everything under the control of OXG, and an easy reswing there to take out the planter past the 0 timer means success for OXG as they now push it up onto map point.
Very unfortunate there for Tempo Storm. They had the man count to get it done, but they just weren't watching Pipes. That was really it. There was no one upstairs in Piano playing the vertical play for Pipes where Vertical was, funny enough, and he ended up just killing everybody. He killed everyone. Jarvis rotated down Banana late, ends up getting caught off by the... I almost said Malusi, but it's actually Maestro in the back line there. There was a lot of positive things there for Tempo. They had the map control to get it done. They just weren't respecting the areas in which Oxygen could play, and Oxygen made them pay for it. You got to respect those areas inside of that garage. If you leave one unchecked, that's when those picks come in, and they're able to snowball it back in their own direction. So nice stuff there from Oxygen to not get too scared once Foxay got picked on Yellow Pillar. Vertical had it locked down from Pipes. Great play from them. For Tempo Storm, you got to keep those vertical angles being worked, man. There was 2 picks there for you guys that you guys could have had, but just very unfortunate that no one was there to be able to assist.
So OXG pushing this map to the brink now, and Tempo really having to summon their inner strength to try and bring this one back, or if not, look forward to maps number 2 and 3, which may have been part of their game plan to begin with here. This is so far kind of the expected result based on some of those map statistics that we were talking about earlier. Still, for Tempo, a 7-1, not a great way to start off a series, so if they can try to get at least a few more rounds on the board here, I'm sure that's going to help not only if the obvious scoreline disadvantage they're working with, but also potentially any moral issues that could be going on for Tempo, as this is looking somewhat similar to last week's performance, and they definitely don't want a repeat of that.
I will say this, though. Tempo Storm is looking a lot more synergized than they did last week.
Yeah.
Sitting there and, you know, just casting through both of those maps, it was like Tempo just gave up. There was nothing there for them. They were husks of the former men that they were. There was nothing left in the tank for them. But this time around, they continue to fight. I think that we're going to have a really, really good Villa. It's just, I don't think that Consulate is the play for them, especially with how fiery Oxygen is right now and how well they've been working with each other. Going back to the split site now, Tempo Storm need to get this plant down and play for that post plant and try and force Oxygen to come upstairs. That's why Oxygen wants these picks early on here. You can see Foxay looking around to see exactly what they can do with a possible swing or nitro cell from Vertical, but no presence yet from Tempo.
Foxay going to back up a little bit here, continuing to try and gather intel from the heartbeat sensor. This teammate plays the upper echelon of that angle. Away from this, Green is going to swing himself to the inside here. He'll take easy admin control and start working on a little bit of soft destruction to see if they can find themselves an early pick against anyone from OXG that might still be hiding around the first floor, or even on the transition stairs from Visa down below. Mark, in fact, finds this player. It's Bio. Down is going to go the Malusi as Tempo get themselves started out with an early 5v4 advantage. Now it's just time to take some map control, build on that, and hopefully avoid the flurry of nitro cells that'll be coming from the basement from the remaining members of OXG.
Yeah, that's the real scary thing. But the other thing they have to worry about is Oxygen trying to force themselves up these stairways. Did not. Oh, actually, excuse me. They actually did bring the Nomad. So Jarvis still having that in his pocket. Slash with a nice pickup as well. On to Crazy. Crazy not having the best game ever right now. So we'll see if the rest of his team can possibly pick this up. Getting set up for the plant now as Creators primes it for the very first time. Nitro Cell out, but haven't thrown it just yet. Reset here as Slash picks up Dream. That's going to be a double kill for him on the round. Diffuser canceled once again as they continue to dance around inside of Tellers. Getting chased down by this cardiac sensor. Don't have a good read on him. Creators dashing out, and now they're all going down funnel. A little bit of a fake here. They still have plenty of time to try and make an audible, but not successful just yet. Mark now has pressure on Banana, but yet another kill here from Slash. Can he go for 4? He absolutely can. Jarvis, sit down. Foxay picks up Creators and Oxygen with a 7-1 finish here on Consulate.
Oxygen definitely with a confident start to this series, improving on aspects, as we already saw from last week, of course, but improving on aspects from week 1. Issues with their attack no longer seeming to surface. They've really ironed that out. The defense, of course, barely being tested here, only having to play out 2 rounds, but things looking pretty good there as well. OXG definitely in good shape, but they've got a pretty big test coming up on the next map, with it being Villa. As you mentioned earlier on Stokes, it's a map where they currently have an 0-5 record.
That does not mean that they can't win, though. It just means that they're very bad at the map in recent history. That's what it means. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's very true. So, just trying to make the storyline a bit interesting here, you know?
I completely agree with you.
Just trying to sell the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, that second map is going to be coming up in just a few minutes. Stick with us, and we'll be right back with more action.
Welcome back. OXG starting strong on map 1 Consulate, winning 7-1 against Tempo. They crushed Tempo.
Destroy Tempo. Slap
I'm
Tempo.
with Belly and Jesse. You hear Belly right now.
Man,
Screaming out what happened there. Yeah, let's look at the highlights. But not many highlights for Tempo.
Jackie, what do you call a highlight when only one team is getting kills? Call that a montage. This is an Oxygen montage.
This is, yeah, pretty much. Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm upset. So the reason why I'm upset, and once again, yeah, usually we talk about what's happening in these replays, but it's gonna get tiring saying, oh, yeah, Fox and Laxton killed everyone. That's cool. Vertical did vertical things, fine. What's the deal with Tempo right now? In the last 3 maps, what are they? They're 2-21. Like, what is it? How many rounds did they win last series?
Like they won they won 1 last series, right?
All right.
Because it was a 14-1.
So they're 2-21 at the moment in 3 maps, 2 different games. That is sad. Like I need Tempo Storm to really pick it up. Like honestly, this is starting to make me upset because we just got done watching E-United. And I'm sorry I took over, Jackie. We just saw E-United make a team change and bring in 2 people, and they look significantly better. And it's like, okay, Tempo, they teased us. No, they were that hot chick that was like, hey, look at me, I'm this great, you know, I don't know what analogy I'm going for. But basically, at the end of the day, I don't know where I was going. I'm really upset. Like I was thinking of a funny analogy, but you know, whatever. I need Tempo to pick it up. We see success with United, but it's just not there. Like I'm not even trying to be funny anymore. Like I need them to really step it up because I believe in them, man.
We've seen this before.
What happened?
My analogy
They
was gonna
look
be so bad.
so good on play day 1. No, I was just laughing because you were like trying to think of an analogy and then you're like, yeah, this ain't working.
I'm upset.
But pretty much, yeah, I think we're all just like, what is going on here? They look so good at play day 1. TSM was terrible, and I was just hoping that was a fluke. But Veli, what's falling apart here with them?
I don't know. It's there's a lot of small things that are seriously avoidable. One round that actually got me upset, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be Tempo's turn to really, you know, kick it into high gear, right? It was when they were attacking Garage. Now, Oxygen, there was no verticality. Everyone was on the same level. They were waiting in the back. They wanted you to push in so Vertical and everyone else could get their picks. And you know what? That happened. So they ran in and they killed Foxy. They're like, all right, we killed Foxy. This is finna be a breeze. It was everything but that. Oxygen really gave it to him, and it was all up to Vertical and Pipes. He destroyed them. He dominated them. Like, Vertical was daddy. And it was just sad to see because if you make that push, like, where's your Vertical play at? If you're on top in Piano and you have soft destruction done on the floor, you're going to be able to take Vertical out swiftly. Vertical shouldn't be an issue. But not only that, you have a sledge, right? But it's not only that. where's your smokes? Like, bring Gridlock, bring a Monty, bring something, because if you're down 5-1 and you're making that garage push face to face, you're gonna challenge Oxygen gun for gun, and you're down 1-5, don't depend on your gun. Use your utility. It's there to help you out. I was disappointed in that, and I really hope next map is closer.
Yeah, not the best for tempo. Jesse, really quickly, OXG, they look dominant for sure.
Yeah.
And you actually thought that their roam clear was particularly strong. I mean, it was like tempo obviously played poorly, but OXG doing a lot of things right.
For sure, and I think this is important because it's how it started, right? Tempo Storm really lost the momentum when they had that roam clear going really well. It's different from the last series because of obviously Tempo Storm were starting on defense this time, so we got to see a lot more of their roam, and it got shut down so hard. Of course, like Laxing and Fox were fragging, but Slash deserves a lot of credit as well for feeding them that intel. Coordination was really good. The droning was really, really nice. They even brought Jackal one time when they thought Oryx was going to be a problem, and that worked out just perfect. So I thought the roam clear really set the tone of this matchup, and you know, from there, I think with the momentum and everything, Auction kind of steamrolled because of it.
Okay, and gentlemen, our community poll result is in, and the question was a rematch of our first play day. Will Tempo Storm get another great performance from creators, or will Laxing take over this matchup? And they gave Laxing 77%.
Yes.
They gave creators
Well done,
23%.
community.
Yes.
Yeah, man, they just steamrolled them.
It sucks. It sucks to see.
Yeah, that was hard to watch. And I think that our very own Stokes tweeted out, Tempo Storm wins,
What?
send tweet.
Why would
Well,
he
why
go
would you
against
tweet
me?
that, Stokes?
Why would he go against me?
I don't
What's his
know.
problem?
Hello?
Let's toss it over to Blue and Stokes and let them get map
Stokes,
2
you got some
rolling
splaining to
here.
do.
But yeah, Stokes, what happened there?
Listen, I'm just trying to spite Jesse. He can't always be right, damn it. He can't. I can't let it happen. So, but I mean, he's probably gonna be right. Let's be honest. The big brain. He looked at the stats, and Oxygen is looking so good today. As usual, I'm joined by Blue. Blue, how are you feeling about this one, man? That first map, not very good. Consulate 7-1 in favor of Oxygen, but we are ending up on better terms here. We're going to Villa. It's an 0-5 right now for record-wise for Oxygen.
Yeah, I think that overall, looking at this matchup, even though there is the record in place for Oxygen, which I've already talked about, and that's very much could be a factor, we could still be looking at a very weak performance overall from the OXG roster, because they may just not be that good on this map yet at the end of the day. But I think with the performance that we've been seeing from them on map number 1, first of all, their attacks have been straightened out, which by far has been the biggest issue, even when they've played on this map previously. So that issue is going away. And then really all things fall to is their defense, which, to be fair, we didn't get a great picture of that when we played back on the first map, since there was only those few rounds, but everything's looking solid. You know, with a map score like that, I see no reason why they wouldn't be able to win things out here on the second map. It's really all going to be up to them, and of course what we end up seeing from Tempo Storm, who still brings a pretty good performance here as well. And I think we'll probably bring a little bit more confidence to the table here, given the previous history as well.
I think that the real problem that they could face walking into this is that Tempo is going to be starting on the offensive side, at least from my notes here on Villa. And Auction going to be starting off on the defense. But you know what could help out Tempo Storm even more, John?
What's that?
They end up getting some Acer Predator laptops. These things are tough, man. Let me tell you, I've been using mine so much to take all of these commentary notes, keep up with the teams, watch other streams, do a bunch of stuff, and you can do it in style with your Acer Predator laptop. Make sure you guys go out and look into those today over at acer.com.
And away from that, and more importantly, while you're doing that, be sure to stay tuned in here, folks, as it is map time. We're going into the bans right now, and we're going to take a look and see if OXG can get themselves a swift bit of revenge against Tempo Storm for that match back at the beginning of the season, or if Tempo is going to take us all the way to map number 3 once again against OXG here. Let's find out. Ace is going to be our first operator banned out. Not really much of a surprise there. OXG's been banning him out quite a bit, as has been Tempo and quite a few of our other teams. He's a very powerful operator, and more importantly, he's a very fast hard breach. So for a lot of teams, it's better to just not have to deal with him. Thatcher also going to be taken out by Tempo.
Yeah, that's going to hinder the offense quite a bit. specifically with the Thatcher ban. Ace is one that we're going to be seeing all the time. He's currently the hard breacher with the best gun in the game. Well, for hard breaches, obviously, and arguably rifles, if you want to talk about that. Well, Mai going to come in for the first defensive ban. Can't blame them there. Going to make the clear just a touch easier. And we're going to have one that's a little unorthodox, but we know exactly why. Pulse coming in for the last ban from Auction. That's going to round out our bans here between these two. The Pulse ban, I like this a lot. Hinders Tempo Storm's intel game quite a bit on that defense, and Oxygen really didn't use it too much on their consulate, so I feel like they're going to be set up for this, specifically on sites like this, like Kitchen.
It's not a ban we see all the time, primarily because it's still very possible to do things without him. It's not a hugely debilitating ban a lot of the time, but if you know, as the team banning it, that the opposite team does rely on him quite a bit, obviously that can be a spanner in their works if they're potentially not expecting that ban to come out, which Tempo may have not been expecting it here. So all of a sudden they may be panicking and trying to figure out a way to counteract that. The good news for them is, though, is they've got 6 rounds before they even have to worry about it, as it's going to be OXG starting things out here on the defense. And they're going to go right downstairs, not to the living room, though, where we've been seeing a lot of teams start out on. They're going to go with more of the old standard that we've been seeing come into play over the past few months and go towards the kitchen instead.
This is a very unique setup here from Oxygen. If you guys notice, we actually don't have a Jaeger being brought with Omai banned out. That means all the throwables on Tempo's sides are going to be confirmed. But Oxygen have actually spread out their setup over into the living room area. We've seen a couple of different teams do this inside of the pro scene, but this is going to be the first time I'm seeing Oxygen do it here. This castle being brought as well with the Banshees and the Ella. There's quite a few layers here for Oxygen to build off of. I really like this delay that they're bringing with that Banshee, or excuse me, not with the Banshee, but with the Melusi and Ella combo coming in, and just the Mozzie with a little bit of flavor right on the top of the cake, being able to get rid of some of those drones and use those for more site intel.
Take a look here, see what the opening moves from Tempo are going to be. A little bit of presence up onto the second floor here right off the bat, as we're going to see pretty much the entire Tempo roster -1 trying to work their way in some shape or form here through that master balcony. And the 5th is pretty close by, just over on the Astro window rappel. So everybody working together here on Tempo, not going for any sort of split play, which in my opinion is a very good choice given the way, and more importantly, the potency that we saw from OXG in the early round on the last map. Even though we primarily saw it from the attacking side, it's good for Tempo to not necessarily want to take any risks early on here with any sort of crazy solo play that could turn itself around to go badly.
Yeah, and that's been really the problem for Tempo. It's been these solo picks that Oxygen has been able to get a hold of, and we really haven't seen too much from Tempo sides on these entries. Actually, Creator's the #1 entry in the entire league right now, specifically for that entry stat. 2-0-8 on the very last game, so that's not the kind of success that we're trying to see him have. We need to see him get some more work done here inside of that kill category and try and have an impact throughout these rounds. Oxygen doing a very good job of delaying here. About halfway through now, as they've completely given up the upstairs. Not exactly the worst thing in the world, though, as they do still have some nitro cells and such, but that was actually the last nitro cell burnt there from Vertical. But still keeping up on that man count is obviously a good thing.
Man count's actually going to remain unchanged here after nearly 2 minutes of the round has already been eaten up. Tempo still looking for their opportunity to play, and more importantly, setting up for that opportunity when it shows up later on in the round. You can see all of the soft breach prep that's been done primarily by Mark. A little bit of assistance coming in from a few other players as well. And he, in fact, still even has one more of those charges, which is going to be used at this very moment. Bio is going to get caught. Not fully killed just yet, but he is certainly downed. And there you go. Now confirmed by Mark, as indeed Tempo's slow windup seems to have led to some success, giving them the opening pick of the round. Now needing to transition it, though, and they're going to do just that. Creators gets himself into the duel with Slash on the Ella, comes out on top of it, and now opens up potentially a plan opportunity here if Tempo want to risk it by going through the pantry stairs route. Obviously a lot of defensive setup still to be dealt with for OXG, but Tempo's definitely got a great opener here.
Yeah, Tempo doing a little with a lot right now. That vertical play helping them out a lot with this pantry push, but they still have to worry about the Oxygen members inside of sight. Oxygen spread pretty thin right now. Vert, really the only one that can try and prevent anything, is going to be Ash on the Overwatch, but they're on every angle. They're practically in the trees right now, but that's a nice pickup here from Vert. They need to pick up that diffuser and start it once again. Fox A playing on the China stairs, starts torching away at the Ash, then peeks right into it, almost picks up a kill, but gets fried by Jarvis through the China wall. Now Tempo Storm picking up the round after some very, very methodical offensive play.
The planter was alone. Obviously, that could have gone a little bit different, but due to the play from Tempo Storm and choosing to keep everyone together for the most part during that attack, they're able to very easily trade out that Evil Eye, prevent the planter from being down, and of course, after the plan itself, went out the round in the 3v1 that was still rolling at that point. Good attempt to clutch it out, just unfortunately not going to lead into too much, and a promising start to be sure from Tempo after the way the last map went. Very much the same thing we said about OXG at the beginning of map number 1, so time to see how this evolves as we get into future rounds here, as OXG certainly, unfortunately, spreading themselves out a little bit too thin in that round, find themselves getting picked one by one, and just don't have enough capability to defend the site when it comes down to those final 20 seconds of the execute.
I think it was very well played by both sides. I think that the big differentiating factor there for Oxygen is that they weren't able to get the early picks that they're so used to, especially from that last round. Oxygen not able to find any success inside of the kill category, whereas Tempo was, as we were talking about before, very methodical at getting that top control. Oxygen fell off very early as well, really didn't have any contention. We didn't see any gunfights go down or anything. It was strictly Tempo got to Master Balcony, and Vertical thought that, hey, it's probably better for me to be downstairs instead of getting pinched from 3 separate areas. So not a bad call by him, but still not having that early pressure, those early gunfights to really throw off what Tempo Storm was doing, allowed them to really just walk through the entire round with that methodical pace, get control of Pantry, and eventually go for that plant. So overall, really nice play there from Tempo Storm. I would like to see a little extra aggression here from Oxygen just to send Tempo off kilter on that roam game.
Oxygen is going to revert to something that I'm sure most of the audience is going to be a little bit more familiar with seeing, and that's going to be the aviation and game site. Oftentimes what we've seen a large majority of teams go to first up until the recent developments in the meta that happened a few months back. We are going to see a little bit more of that aggression that you were hoping to see as well here, most notably Vert taking a very, very tight angle against one of the bedroom windows here. A drone did go into it, so more than likely he got spotted by that, but I don't necessarily see any pre-aim towards it. Never mind. Raiders definitely primed on that angle. Despite that, though, Vertical is going to try to take a swing just a few pixels off there from a headshot on Creators, and Creators not responding fast enough to do any damage to both players. Just going to end up whipping some shots against each other, and for Vertical, he's going to decide it's best not to stick around here. He'll fall back to his position on red stairs. Laxing, though, going through here, taking out quite a few drones as he also falls back from Trophy down to the first floor.
Well, slowed tempo up for the first half, very similar to what we saw the last time around from Oxygen, but bullets actually sent towards each other this time around as opposed to the last. So looks like Oxygen want to continue to contest as long as they possibly can, as Vert has shifted over to red stairs. Not a bad plan at all. He's got a lot of power here for both of these levels, and they've done quite a bit of damage to the drone economy of Tempo Storm. I mean, look at that thing right now. It's an absolute tatters. Only 4 people having a drone, and oh no, Vert gets caught off guard downstairs as Dream simply walks in, grabs the kill, and walks up. That's about it. They now have control of 90 as well, as Tempo was barreling down onto site.
Fortunate turn of events from Tempo as Crazy is going to disconnect there. That brings it down to a 4 versus 4 here. We're going to have to see the rest of the round be played out here by Tempo. Like I said, issues with their drone economy as well. Only 3 still standing, and they are all deployed out at the moment, which means some of them may already be preset, and they may not want to move them, meaning they have limited capability to gain intel throughout the rest of this round. Oxygen, on the other hand, they know they've got this advantage, and they're definitely going to utilize it. A good swing from Laxing, though. A great opportunity presents itself. He had full vision, more than likely on to Mark, so went for the play and made it work. That's going to put Oxygen in control here. For the remaining 40 seconds, it's all up to Tempo to change that pace. Foxay still waiting for some action to work its way over into Study 2. He knows he's got pressure potentially coming his way, but away from that, since there is no Study pressure, he's got a great potential to re-swing out here and just punish anybody that tries to push him from top stairs. Bio is managing all of this, though, so you won't even really need the support from Foxay by the time everything is said and done. It's all down to Jarvis. A 1v4 situation for him to play against. He's going to try to make it work, but already taking some heat, and Laxing will finish things off. He throws the flamethrower at Jarvis, finishing off the round for OXG and allowing for a trade to come out here, meaning we were going to be tied at 1-1. And as you guys might expect, a quick rehost is going to come in here to allow the Tempo player to reconnect.
I think we might have ourselves a game here, John. This could be some fun. Oxygen looking a lot stronger inside of that second defense, showing an aggressive front, but eventually, you know, that ooey gooey center was there. Very reserved gameplay from Oxygen and working those picks extremely well. Tempo just feeling a little bit too comfortable inside of their positionings there, specifically inside of 90. When that shield is there, there's more than likely going to be someone to contest you, and Laxing playing that situation to a T. So very unfortunate that Tempo ended up getting that first kill and then gets the disconnect, but still 4-on-4 is still a winnable round there for you. You just got to be able to close them out and use that utility towards breaking up those points of contact from the defense, specifically that shield inside of the hallway, really giving them a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the disconnect definitely potentially affecting things there too. Obviously, you know, we're not going to spend too much time talking about that because it's unfortunate, but we do have to move on from that. Tempo Storm at the end of the day there, just not able to bring enough pressure that was needed to get onto the site due to the good angle play that was set up there, like you were just talking about, Stokes, from the members of OXG and their capability to just completely shut down any of the players trying to push their way in from the master side, from that trophy and statuary side. We had very little, if any, pressure coming in from the Tempo roster over by study side there. So players like Foxay and I believe one other player by the mainsters were just able to sit there throughout the entire round. And when the execute finally started rolling in, well, they knew they were safe. They knew there wasn't anyone else coming from that direction. So they're able to put themselves in even safer positions for any sort of issues that may have popped up. And we never even got to that point. So OXG barely having their defense tested there at the end of the day when it comes to that site. But that's the important thing, is that's a very standard site that a lot of teams are already good at playing their defensive round on. So now we're going to have to see how OXG look to evolve this defensive half beyond that. More than likely, we'll expect them to go over towards trophy and statuary. There is that potential for a living room pick here coming up as well, but judging by the way that the initial kitchen round went, more than likely they're going to want to stray away from that until they have a better idea for the general play style that Tempo will bring to the table on this round, so that they can hopefully craft their roaming presence a little bit better to play those downstairs sites.
I will say there's more than likely something inside of the Oxygen playbook for Kitchen that is just a touch more standard. That is not unorthodox, but it's a very fresh thing that we've been seeing a lot of teams do with Kitchen, extending over to living room and just playing it more horizontally than vertically. And it just didn't really work out for them. It's perfectly fine to go back to, you know, the old ways of, hey, we're just going to play above with a couple of people, bring some reinforcements, and try and play for those gunfights. Inside of that last round, though, you said something that just you hit the nail on the head right there, John. And what I wanted to talk about was what you were talking about with the main stairs control as well as study control that Oxygen had in order to shut out that last round. Those are some major areas that you have to control when you're going for that execute, specifically when you're going for that master clear over and then you're going to go for the plant on the vault door. The top of the stairs as well as the study is a safe haven for any defender that wants to try and swing towards bus door. So if you don't have control of that, things like what we saw happen with, well, not necessarily Foxay, but almost with Foxay can happen. So that hindrance inside of Tempo's man count going later into that round really dealt a lot of damage that was a little bit more difficult to see than regular.
Yeah, it's certainly the case. And I mean, you know, it's like we were saying, like Foxy was set up in that position. You never even really had to use it, but in the event Bio goes down there, it's more than likely a very easy thing for Foxy to just swing out there, confirm at least one trade, and more than likely, based on the way things were going, try to pick up a few more as well. Looks like things are pretty much ready to resume, folks. We've got all 10 players in the lobby, and the match is now resuming at that 1-1 scoreline. So assuming there's not any major hiccups over the next like 5 to 10 seconds here, we're going to be good to resume things and hop right into round number 3. Let's head in game and take a look at the resummation of OXG against Tempo. I don't even know if that's a word, but I just threw it in there. So the resummation, I don't think that's a word, but
we're doing it live. We're doing it live. All right,
it's my dictionary.
We're using John's dictionary now? Is that what we're doing?
I decide what words are real.
Trophy statuary going to be the very first room here, or defensive site for the defense as we join things back up. Bio 6 picking off of the Maestro and picking up the Clash. Kind of a weird one here. Not necessarily a terrible thing. Clash, a very influential operator, especially on this site if they do end up going for a master take. She's going to have basically free reign over all of the concrete area you see next to Laxing. She'll be able to shut down a lot of things going on inside of Master, as well as, you know, adhere the call wherever it is. Rotate it around, slow down tempo as much as possible, and I think it's a great plan for Oxygen. Whenever they're able to actually slow down the pacing of Tempo Storm is not able to battle back inside of the round. I really do think it's just Oxygen needs to grab the reins of dictating the pace of the match, and for Tempo Storm, it's winning those initial gunfights. Whenever they have a pick, they do so well.
Setup here for Oxygen is going to look fairly standard here. Obviously, the Clash pick is going to make things relatively interesting. But for the most part, I think will be played in terms of wall reinforcements and whatnot, as you would generally expect. Foxe to try to set himself up for success here with the Electric Claw. Let's look at the triple denial off here. Actually, no, he's going to deal the left two there. So leaves the right one available for an opening, but also acts as a bit of a choke point too. So it's not necessarily the greatest thing in the world for Tempo to open that, even though it will potentially be for free if Fox is not going to try to deny it.
Okay, well, Tempo Storm looking for the master take now. They do have the IQ as well on Mark, so they're able to get him in downstairs. He could remove quite a bit of this utility. Actually, inside of the site, quite a bit of this flooring upstairs is actually soft, which means it is susceptible to IQ. It's more than likely why Creators is clearing out down low, as well as potential nitro cells that could possibly happen. We do have the Malusi all the way down the stairs of Laxing. This is exactly the kind of person you want inside of this area. Those rat tactics could end up working out. Electro Claw being seen by Bark now, but they have to be aware of what could possibly happen downstairs. Jarvis setting up some air jabs as well on these staircases. They now know that Laxing's downstairs as well because of that impact coming out. So good intel here for Tempo Stormers. They're getting down to the minute 40 mark.
Jarvis certainly taking some heat though from the earlier reaction. He's going to be brought down to right around 50. As the rest of Tempo though, no one taking any damage just as of yet, but we do have some pressure starting to build up on that master balcony. I'm sure it won't be the only one, as more are on their way, including one over here on the Astro Window Repel, looking to take out some of the utility that is set up here on the inside. For players, just like what we were looking at there, for players like Slash, who really has a whole arsenal of utility currently sitting there on the Astro stairs to try and assist him if he's going to try and delay that master, most notably the master bathroom push. But Bio's also here too, so Slash has a lot of playmaking capability and more than likely a lot of room to work with due to Bio being here to assist him. I mean, even these two aren't alone either. Vert's also right over there by the rotate point going into sight. So there's a lot that Tempo's going to have to work their way past, and it's kind of a good thing that there isn't a huge emphasis on the master clear right now, as Tempo would more than likely spend most of the round trying to grind that away compared to making any actual progress here. But let's see. There's a lot of pressure downstairs starting to brew closer and closer towards those Astro stairs. Laxing is going to come from the bottom back stairs, in fact, swings out and is able to take down the first player trying to challenge those Astro stairs. Creators is nearby here too. He'll have a good chance for a refrag, but at the moment, not really feeling the pressure to move forward here. So he is going to just take out utility, fall back and get into a different position. And in the meantime, Tempo is going to shuffle the diffuser here for a second. Not going to be much of an issue to get it back though.
Yeah, but big problems now. Only 20 seconds remain, and they need to get this diffuser down, and they really don't have a safe place in order to do so. Can't even get through the wall right now with how the X-Kairos are set up, so it's going to have to be a harsh execute through the doors, and we already have 2 Tempo members down, but Creators coming up big with a nice 2K there, but Shotgun's out now for Oxygen. Diffuser down inside of the bathroom, so Creators is going to have to do double duty here, but it doesn't even matter. Slash picks him up with a Shotgun, and Oxygen pick up round 3 off of some really, really good effort to slow down Tempo Storm's attack.
Yeah, unfortunately, just not really much success with regards to the opening pushes from Tempo whatsoever. They got some early control to work with, but they were never really able to seemingly do anything with it. There was a valid attempt made to pinch out a lot of that Astro pressure, but again, they never really found their kind of initiating move to try and push towards that, and were eventually kind of just flushed into it at the end of the round because they had no time left, so they had to force their way forward, and it went pretty much as you would expect with all the utility and more importantly the Clash standing in the way there for OXG. It was a very easy time for them to shut down the Tempo push.
Yeah, there was a lot of positives there for Oxygen. I think that the biggest, key to that round was Laxing downstairs. They knew that he was there for most of the round after the early impact onto the hash gave him away, obviously, but he was still able to play his life out downstairs and get a pick, and that's the biggest thing. He was guarding the bottom of the Astro stairs for the smoke of Slashug, not like he could do it himself, which he absolutely can with that shotgun, but having Laxing there to be able to assist him as well as possibly run up if needed, that's a lot of things going on for OXG. They had almost every single means of travel out of the kitchen area locked down from Tempo Storm. Oxygen only gave Tempo Storm as much as the map as Oxygen wanted them to have, and it was beautiful to watch. I mean, they only had master control as well as the kitchen dining area. If they went for anything else, Oxygen would just simply kill them.
Now with 2 very successful rounds being played upstairs, this is more of a test here for the Oxygen roster. Stokes noted, of course, that the last time that Oxygen went to this site, they did play a little bit more unorthodox with their setup, and things are going to look, from the looks of things anyway, start to revert back a little bit here now. as they'll feel a little bit more comfortable to try this site again now that they've won both of the upstairs sites in succession. Still will be quite a bit of upstairs roaming presence, though, as they do need to control these very important areas of the map. Tempo realizes this too, so they are in fact going to jump in from the study side and work on a south to north clear instead of going right to master.
Could be a nice change up here, but since Oxygen does have top floor pressure, they could battle and die on this hill for a little while. They always have the fallback of Astro as well, so to see how this plays out. Still have Laxing on the roam, which, as we've seen, he can do as much damage as possible. He's very good in this role, knows exactly when to get on and knows exactly when to back off. So we'll see if Tempo can battle this out a little bit better up against Lax this time. Goes for the Nitro Cell, does a little bit of damage to creators purely off of audio there for Laxing. Some good stuff from him early on, but Nitro Cell just not picking up the kill.
Laxing waiting very patiently here for any opportunity. Try and pick off a member of Tempo, but no one's going to take a bite on that. However, Dream will find himself in a skirmish. Doesn't come out too successfully, though, and in the meanwhile, Vertical also gets a pick against Mark. Try to put some pressure over on Astro Window. We'll get a second opportunity here, too. Vert is going to put even more damage on a Dream this time. He's brought down to just over 25. He'll have to survive with right around 30 here for the rest of the round. We'll take out the Banshee on the ground so he can make a more confident swing if he feels the need to once again, but there's a lot more to deal with, and Dream, who seemed to be kind of zeroing in on the correct angle, is not going to be able to get the shot off. And away from that, Foxen only gets the first kill, but he gets a second one as well. Tempo are falling apart on the seams of this attack, and they haven't even gotten to the floor where the site is yet. They're still trying to clear out the roaming presence, and they're already down to just Crazy and Jarvis. Losing one of their charges here is only going to make things worse, as they won't have the capability to isolate out any additional rotates from OXG to try and finish off the remaining two. Crazy gets himself into a battle here that he may have not been expecting, and now he's down low at 25 HP as well. Potentially going to be finished off in a second, but no, he gets the revenge against Laxing, taking him out instead of seeing Crazy go down right there.
The bars giveth and the bars taketh away. Crazy and Jarvis still upstairs. Have 4 that they have to worry about on defense. They do have the diffuser, but Crazy quite low on HP after that battle through the vertical play. Fox A and the rest of OXG waiting patiently on site here, seeing exactly what can possibly happen. Still have Bio over inside of living room, and he has 2 around him. Should have a pretty easy pickup here, and he will. That Roni eating Jarvis to shreds. Crazy now the last one alive as he's peeking around, but it's Foxay actually to get the last kill here onto Crazy. And that's what we were talking about from Oxygen. They have so much talent when it comes to mechanical skill, and to not abuse it up against a team that's trying to be very structured in what they're setting up is blasphemy. Now that Oxygen has got back to the roots, they're starting to take these gunfights or letting Vert get aggressive. It is working so well. I want to see if they can possibly close out this defensive side on a positive note.
And the notes for Tempo are really only going to continue to get worse, unfortunately, as now, after winning out that downstairs site, we're going to start to see some of the upstairs ones begin to unlock for OXG again, which they've already proven they can win those with flying colors. So back to Aviator End Games is going to be the next site they'll play into. We're almost certainly going to have to see Tempo vary up their strategy for this one. Last time attempted to mainly push pressure in from the north side over by Master and then try to take control from there. But they dealt with possibly like an unexpected amount of pressure towards 90 that they may have not been really expecting to deal with in the form of Laxing playing behind that shield. And things really started to go bad from that point forward, unfortunately, as they tried to funnel everyone in from the red stairs side into the site, but is very quickly shut down by Bio inside. And even if Bio had gone down, we talked about this before as well, Foxay still had full control of Study and a great angle to kill any of the remaining players. There definitely needs to be a bit of a change up in Tempo's attack this time.
Honestly, it seems as though that they're going into these without the maximum amount of intel that they can possibly have on a situation, especially with those upstairs attacks, like funneling in towards benches as well as Boar. I mean, they're more than likely going to win. That they know you're going to be coming from that area. That's usually the default attack, especially with that setup upstairs, and they already have it off of, based off of what defaults you've destroyed or what other intel they have from earlier inside of the round. So you know that they know that you are coming. Oxygen's ready for you. It doesn't seem as though Tempo's ready for Oxygen, though, inside of these positions.
All right, well, let's see exactly what Tempo is going to do. And I mean, pretty much right as we were just talking about here, we immediately have pressure going over towards Study this time. Creators, not even going to be the only one either. Crazy's also grouping up with him. Slash has more than likely heard this if you've not seen the drone move in, so will be very well aware of the pressure that is brewing just outside of that study door right now. Dream and one other player from Tempo also going to be taking some first floor control away, and that other player's Mark, by the way, is going to be moving his drone up the main stairs now to find out where Slash's position is, and if he can get far enough, maybe catch Bio 2 here, but more than likely, yeah, that's going to get shot out right as he spots Slash, so only getting to spot the smoke under these circumstances. Not going to stop Tempo, though. Tempo very quickly moving in, and we already see a 1-for-1 exchange. Foxy is set up to potentially trade against more of these guys, but Tempo's moving through this quickly. Crazy, having picked up the most recent kill there against Slash, taking out the pressure from top stairs.
Oh, might have a freebie downstairs.
Nice.
Oh, and we will. Foxy with the equalizer onto Dream, and it seems that Tempo's ready for it this time around. His aggressive front knock working out with the same amount of success as it did prior for OXG. Worried about laxing downstairs is Jarvis, and actually it's Foxy. Excuse me. We pull that back for just a second, but still locked inside of this 3v3. Plenty of time left on the board here, and some good utility still in the hands of the defenders to string this round along. Creator's very low on HP as well, and since he's the main gunfighter right now for Tempo Storm, this could slow some things up.
Plenty of time here for Tempo to continue to work their play. However, with just over a minute remaining, the problem is going to be the lack of health on a few of their players. They've got to be very careful with their fight selection here. They end up going just in direct 1v1s. Even if both players play to their best, more than likely Oxygen will still win quite a few of them here due to that low HP. Away from that, though, see a little bit of play potential being lined up there from Bio, trying to pepper off some shots on the players that are still hiding on the inside of Study, but no success found on that. Laxing going to get blinded out here, too, but Foxy still coming in for the assist. He's able to find Jarvis. Crazy gets dropped at the same time from, I believe, the same angle. And now, as they wrap around the corner, they still have yet to even potentially realize that Laxing is playing right here. Seems as though that's not the case, though, as Creator is very much looking out for that swing from the doorway, and is going to catch even a little bit of damage off onto Laxing as his teammate backs up. Creator's trying so hard to get Crazy back into the fight here, trying to put pressure onto players like Laxing to prevent that swing and the confirmation onto him, but Laxing gets it off regardless, and is going to follow it up with a second kill as well. Oxygen control round number 5, and are well on their way to a dominant scoreline at halftime.
Laxing playing like an absolute rat there, dealing with that Study situation. Prone next to the door, forcing audio cues through different angles and backing off. There was a lot of stuff there that Laxing was doing to close out that situation. But overall, that wasn't even what stole the show. Oxygen fighting down to a 3 versus 3, then closing out with the sight play is what stole the show. They hindered Tempo Storm just enough, and Tempo Storm fell to pieces. They didn't have the map control, nor the body count, nor the health to be able to contest Oxygen on multiple fronts, and Oxygen, knowing exactly what was written on the wall, walk away with round 5. You're looking into round 6, though. We're going back to trophy statuary. Oxygen seeming to bring a little bit of a slower front here, not nearly as aggressive as we have been seeing, jumping back onto the clash. So again, I think this is that choice to really mess with Tempo Storm more than it is to get kills.
Yeah, no real reason for OXG to change up the strat when it comes to this site. It worked perfectly the last time around here, so unless Tempo is going to bring some dramatic change up to their own personal strategy here, then OXG will more than likely play things the exact same way, with the heavy emphasis on defending Astro, as it seems to be the central execution point for Tempo. Tempo is more than likely going to have to either figure out a way to deal with that, either by, again, not getting caught by the roaming presence early on and just figuring out a way to get to that point in the round faster, or by putting pressure elsewhere, whether it be Master or, of course, by trying to swing through areas like the connector and top red as well. All up to Tempo, of course. It's up to them to decide how this game moves forward at this point, but Oxygen is very much in control, just like our previous map, and not a good thing for Tempo considering Oxygen already up 1-0 in the series and well on their way to a 2-0. Tempo doesn't change something soon.
Oh, well, Foxy aggressive early on here. I feel like we've been saying that quite for quite a long time here with Oxygen, but once again, doing some of that. So Oxygen upstairs over in stat, as we've been talking about. Tempo Storm going to be taking this from south to north with that studied clear here. Drones quite ahead of Tempo Storm, as Mark is more than likely working his way towards the bottom of main stairs. Nice setup overall, operator-wise here for Tempo Storm. Have all of the means to be able to handle what Oxygen is bringing to the table. They are going to have some good utility usage here, though, mainly because of that clash. If they end up trying to burn a little bit too early on, specifically with Dream's utility, then that could leave him off worse for wear. He's really the only one inside of this lineup that has any utility to really make Bio's life any harder.
Flash going to be spotted out here, of course, and a sudden sigh from Tempo as they'll realize they have to deal with that again. So the strategy is going to be, like I said before, already we can see a change up in kind of the game pace here from Tempo as they are going to prioritize moving in from that study side to take things out from here, hopefully being able to work multiple angles instead of just one and prevent the issue of running into the clash and, of course, having no other options to get around it. So by going this way, it gives them immediately two-pronged approach to this attack if they want it. If they want to send players over towards Astro or in through Master, that just adds more to it, but it also splits them up more, which they've had issues with in this series as well. So it's kind of a delicate balance the Tempo need to find for themselves here. See in a moment, Foxy's going to try to make a play, hops down, goes for the Nitro Cell, seems to have been caught by Dream though. He's going to be able to back away from that well in advance and avoid any of the damage.
Well, the problem is now is the Tempo Storm not exactly set up for the execute going into the last minute here. Man count equal as well, and Bio can slow down quite a few people. Creator's taking quite a bit of damage in his most recent gunfight. Crazy as well, falling into the exact same trap. Tempo Storm once again not being very excuse me, my entire body was falling apart for a second. Mark with the early picks, though, with the G8, able to take down 2 Oxygen members. That's going to be the impact that they need in order to get a plant down here. Slash running low on Toxic Babes as well. Diffuser currently in the hands of Crazy, but hasn't started it up just yet. They've got everything closed down for the most part for rotations, but a nice refrag from Vert to pick up 1. Slash working everything from inside of Trophy. He's the last man alive here for Oxygen. No more Toxic Smoke either to assist him. Oh, almost able to take out Jarvis, but Jarvis better inside of the angle, and Tempo Storm finish out their half 2-4. I actually almost cough slash threw up right there, so apologies for that, guys. I don't know exactly what happened. So anyways, getting into the second half, Tempo Storm, again, a very slow offensive front there, John, but it ended up working out for them. I really feel as though Oxygen felt like they were going for the execute right then and there, and they were not. They really leaned on that timer, and Oxygen ended up falling into the trap rather than Tempo.
Yeah, I believe it was Mark actually that got those 2 entries right at the beginning, or the beginning of the engagement, I guess I should say there, that really opened up the only real opportunity that Tempo's had so far in this half. So great job by him, as without those 2 openers, of course, getting into both of those entry points is going to be all that much harder, and OXG was going to be in a great position to try and shut that down once again. So beautifully played there by Tempo. Definitely some signs of life, but still having to work against a 2-round deficit could be a little bit unfriendly here, especially when we've been seeing some pretty solid attacking halves from OXG, not only just in this game, of course, but looking back at their match from week 2 as well. So OXG, if they're able to bring that heat once again, Tempo could still be in trouble here, but hopefully they've brought some good strategies for the table. Their own map pick here, and definitely the weaker one for Oxygen.
Yeah, even though it is their own map pick, Tempo only 1-1 on it within recent history. That goes back about 3 months. So either not very many people wanting to bring Tempo to this map, which we've heard before, but Oxygen allowing it. So that's why I'm really leaning towards Oxygen right now, because I don't think that they would allow this map back into this pool, especially with their record on it being 0-5.
That's not what your tweet said.
I mean, listen, I'm just trying to make Jesse's life a little bit harder. That's all.
All right, folks, let's take a look at the opener here from OXG. Obviously going to be about a minute or so before we see any real action, more than likely, but a lot of drone and intel gathering still to be had, and Creators is going to be the first victim of that, more than likely. I'm assuming that Slash's drone did catch a quick glimpse of him. They should be aware of the fact that someone is roaming around Red Stairs. Whether they know it's 3 players or not, though, is still yet to be seen, as a few of those, most notably, I believe, Mark and Creators, are going to start to slowly fall back over towards Astro if their support is going to be needed over on the second floor. Away from that, OXG quickly clears out the south side of the map and are now right at the connector entry here if they want to start pressuring the site itself. More than likely, this is not going to be the only prong on their attack, though. We're still at 2 minutes, so Oxygen have plenty of time to try to set up for other routes of attack if that is going to be their game plan.
Yeah, Oxygen still has to worry about the presence down low from Tempo Storm as well, as both of those members have artillery in their pocket, all except for really Jarvis. If you want to argue it, the Nitro Cell not being chosen, he does have the impact, so could always just double impact somebody instead, but still going to work for those vertical plays. Oxygen leaning on the timer to set up for this execute, and it's going pretty well, as you guys have seen. They already have the top of red control, but now they need some pressure inside of Master. Well, at least some holes to be able to watch split, but Mark's going to be preventing those from downstairs.
Mark also priming himself for a Nitro Cell toss here. Bio moving forward. He's got to be careful as the Nitro Cell rolls out. He's trying to get the counter angle here to take out the player below. But he's not really going to be able to find it. And in the process of trying to do that, he loses about 50 of his HP. Definitely not what they wanted to have happen, as they don't get any damage onto the player down below. Mark's doing a fantastic job right now of wasting time and potentially, more importantly, utility away from the OXG roster. Going to continue to waste that away, but OXG will find the first kill. It's not going to be long, though, before it's traded out by both Dream and Creators, who kill Slash and Foxay, putting the OXG roster down to 3, while Tempo remains strong at 4. Not to mention that OXG, well, yes, they've got a lot of control outside the site. They don't have a lot of it in the site yet, but that's going to start to change with Bio's most recent pick, along with the swing from some of the other players to move themselves in. Bio going for a plant, but the Banshee's going to make it very obvious. There is a rotation working its way through Master Bathroom. A good catch from Laxing, but will they catch the Bathroom swing? That's the big question right now, as this is brought down to a 2v2, and the Diffuser goes down. What a play from Jarvis, going right out to take down Bio. Everything falls to Laxing here in the 1vx situation. He's not going to move an inch, though. He's going to sit here, wait for the audio cue to come in, and the first tap of the counter diffuse, then he'll more than likely make a play. There it is. Here comes the swing from Creators. Laxing wins that one, brings it down to a 1v1. Down to 20 seconds on the counter diffuse timer, and now it's all up to Jarvis.
Oh, very scary situation here for Jarvis. Laxing can't play this from underneath either, because that is concrete. Only 3 seconds remain. He can pop off and try and take the gunfight, but Laxing wins it out instead. They are X just that much better, and OXG walk away from this round with yet another one tied to their belt. After some very, very weird instances there, they almost were not able to get that diffuser down. Oxygen could not withstand the amount of utility and angles being tossed at them from Tempo Storm, but somehow weathered the storm throughout that entire round. Very impressive stuff from them to still play and stick to their guns. Stuck to that objective play. They only had control of Statue. They stuck it, able to get it down, and it ended up working out with them after some great play from Laxing. 5-2 split right now. Tempo Storm cannot keep letting up these rounds.
Laxing once again showing us a master class of a few very crucial elements of gameplay here in Siege. Positioning, timing, as well as just site selection there. Beautiful stuff from him to be able to win out that 1v2 in the post plan and put yet another round on the board from OXG. Only 2 more rounds away now from closing out the series in 2-0 fashion and giving Tempo another disappointing performance for this week. Certainly better than last week. That's a lot to be said there, but Tempo are indeed on the brink of defeat once again. They need to summon a lot here to try and bring it back and give us that third map.
Okay, I think the thing for Tempo Storm is that last week they were completely off. Like, nothing they did worked. I mean, even on Consulate, you guys are rushing up yellow into lobby. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a game plan. That's a, hey, we've kind of given up and we really don't know what to try and do now. This Tempo Storm, not the case. Tempo actually is looking a lot better, folks. The main thing is that Oxygen is just night and day from what they were previously. I mean, the team play, how they're playing in post plants, their utility usage. There's a lot of really good things going on for Oxygen, and this is the Oxygen that we've grown to know and enjoy that we're now seeing once again.
Let's take a look here. Once again, a lot of pressure coming early on from the study side here. In fact, a few players, I believe, already on the balcony. Flash is even going in through the doorway, wasting no time here, at least with Vert and Slash, to try and get some early control for themselves. A little bit more utility to deal with, but we actually don't have... No, we've got a few players still mounted up here and ready to try and stop any attempts to swing in towards study. They still might not be able to stop it, though, just due to how quickly this is happening, especially if players like Creators are going to get scared here from flashbangs and other utility that's coming out from the bottom floor. He's very much still trying to focus on stopping that swing to the inside of study, though, but at the same time, he's got to be very cautious of players from Art Studio trying to take him out of his position, too. He's got the Banshee to support him from downstairs, so a good audio cue if someone does drift too close, which we're going to see now, but the nade, a little bit off course there, is not going to do much to him, and Creators, nice adjustment there, takes out Bio. An opportunity for a second, and he finds it. On top of that, Jarvis right next to him also kills some of the players trying to move in through study. That drops the diffuser. Laxing and Vert going to try to swing on him, but Creators is just controlling this entire situation right now. Another player from OXG goes down, and now everything's up to Vert.
Well, it's really not, because Vert's dead too. So Tempo Storm, flawless round here inside of round 9, and what a round it was. Very quick execution there from Oxygen, just not able to win the gunfight to support them moving so quickly, and kind of a misplay there from Bio. He cleared the staircases with the frag grenade, but it was a nice setup there for Creators to back up the staircase to stay alive, and he was able to get 2 free kills downstairs strictly because of his positioning. Some very nice stuff there. Obviously, the skill coming through with that that aim. And just a little bit too ahead of the game was Bio moving up that staircase by himself, and that really opened things up for Tempo Storm to start forcing back on Oxygen, especially after that second follow-through came through for Creators. So they're going to be headed to Dining Room Kitchen now for the very first time on their defensive half. We'll have to see how well it goes.
More than likely, if this is going to be played the same way we've seen them use it in previous weeks, or actually we're going to be over here. We're going to be over here in the kitchen. I thought we were going to the living room, so...
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. But yeah, when we do get there, more than likely there's going to be a lot of emphasis on trying to stop the attackers from moving in on that double softball that we were just looking at, but we'll talk about that when we get to it. As we're going to be over here in kitchen for this round. Tempo still with a lot of defense going to be set up upstairs. Usually we have that roaming presence established here, and I think this round is going to be no exception to that. OXG will have to work their way past that, as well as more than likely a few players set up either in the living room or in extended positions elsewhere as well before they worry about the site itself. Operator lineup looking very well attuned to attacking against this setup for OXG. We'll see them out of the gates in just a second here. We'll get to see what they bring to the table.
Well, getting my bearings here on what Tempo's performing on defense. A lot of off-site presence right now, but that's mostly due to setup more than likely as we see the mute jump back downstairs. This looking more like a kitchen defense now. Are going to have Jarvis on the roam as well. Lots of Nitro Cell potential here for Tempo Storm down low, and this could actually bag them quite a few early kills onto Oxygen. I don't think we're going to see the same aggressive playstyle here from Oxygen inside of round 9, though. I think that things are going to change up just a little bit. Well, the take will change up just a little bit. They're going to be going from the study side as Laxing pushes down low to make sure that no one can possibly either rotate down or through the red hallway.
So yeah, early checks on the red hull, as you were just saying there, Laxing giving himself some certainty that he's safe. It'll be false certainty, though, as it looks like we do have the Malusi positioned just down below at the bottom of the basement side of red stairs, so Laxing's going to have to be careful of that one. More than likely, the drone getting an opportunity to spot it right there, though. Yeah, indeed being the case, as it'll be shot out while Laxing's still on it. But a second one's going to roll out immediately for Laxing, and he'll replace the one that was just shot. Bio, in the meanwhile, does take upstairs control, or at least starts to, as he moves in towards walk-in. Gives himself a nice little hammer swing onto the closet and opens things up, but still, Tempo will find success as they catch the first kill. Foxe is going to get eliminated. There is more waiting around the corner, though, and that is missed. Raider's going to get taken down here. Vertical, now having a chance for a second, succeeds in finding it. Takes out Mark. A nice double kill from him to put Oxygen back in control of this round.
And that right there is the scariest thing about Vertical's play, is he can do so much with so little. Stuck inside of Boar, able to pick up the 2 players upstairs from Tempo Storm. Oxygen now in a really, really good spot to pick up this round and force this into map and match point. You still have Biologic upstairs, starting with the vertical play on the sledge. Plenty of time to do so as well. Oxygen more than likely looking for another pick. Tempo Storm right now. Not too much on-site presence that can possibly stop a diffuser, all except for those nitro cells in the pockets of of Dream as well as Jarvis. You still have good site pressure here as Jarvis is playing over inside of living room, leaving things open to really interpretation on anything. He can possibly rotate anywhere, and his call could possibly go to either side of this site. Dream shifting over inside of Tarps now as Jarvis is holding down onto the door. OXG still trying to find some space in order to put this diffuser down, but they've got the map chopped up pretty well here, specifically from Piano, where Jarvis really won't be able to get any pressure how he exactly wants it. He's going to step outside, gets immediately air jabbed, and it's now down to Crazy inside of sight. I don't see this going too well, though, as the pressure is coming from every single angle. Crazy gets the first one, but he can't pick up the second. That's a triple kill for Vert on the round, and round 9 walking away with Oxygen.
Holds on for a moment, but ultimately can't sustain against the raw amount of pressure that's working itself his way from the remaining members of OXG. That's going to put them up on map and match point now. OXG definitely bringing a very strong performance to the table for tonight's matchup. Huge improvements considering the way they started things off back in week number 1. And Tempo, unfortunately, a little bit of the opposite of that. A great start taking down OXG. Kind of ignore week 2. Like I said, that was just a very unfortunate game for them. Some improvements from week 2 back here into this week's game, but seemingly so far not enough to take down OXG on the rematch. But Game's not over just yet. Problem for Tempo, though, is they've got to run 3 rounds in a row from this point forward, and that's just to take it to OT, but they still need to win 2 out of 3 after that, and that will trigger our 3rd map. It's up into Trophy and Statuary, where we'll see Tempo make their potential final stand here, and OXG will look to seal the deal to give themselves the 2-0.
Well, we'll see if Tempo Storm can possibly bring this back, but it's all going to start here, though. Operator lineup looking pretty spicy. We're bringing a lot of stalling here for Tempo Storm. Crazy, Jarvis, and Dream all contributing to that in their own ways. We'll have to see how successful that can possibly be, but drone game already working out for Oxygen. Got a lot of pre-places in. Nothing eliminated too early here for them, so drone economy looking good as we're setting things up inside of Statuary. Some Nitro Cell is going to be played down low. I'll have to see if Oxygen want to go for that study side clear once again.
All right, folks, just a few more seconds here. OXG is going to be led out onto the table once again. Tempo definitely going to be trying to delay to the greatest capability here, especially with the Legion pick coming in. Very curious to see how that will pan out here for the Tempo roster. Big fan of that. But for OXG, a lot of the same being brought to the table here as well. And Foxy as well with the IQ pick. Nice play, and more than likely going to be countering out a lot of those goo mines from Crazy if he's properly checking his electronic scanner here. So Tempo still will have to play against quite a bit. Mark's going to set himself up for some early aggression against anyone from the OXG roster that's going to try to work their way in on Master Balcony. Unfortunately for him, there is 0 pressure on that balcony at this point in time. As far as I can see, OXG are favoring other points on the map, which is not necessarily happening on the 2nd floor. We've got a lot of guys working their way in through kitchen. Only 1 player up on the 3rd floor, back by the walk-in and master windows at this point.
That is going to be some really good intel from Mark across the map, though. They now know where the take's coming from Oxygen, as they've already begun clearing out this entire site with Foxy. Lots of things that are electronic inside of the site that he's able to get rid of through that flooring. It's going to be a similar setup to what Oxygen has pulled off on this site as well, as we have Jarvis playing Astro with an ADS, but no shotgun to be able to prevent anyone from swinging super close to him. Have to see if he can possibly live out there. Some shotgun play from Dream up top. Actually ends up doing some damage to Vertical, as he wasn't exactly ready for a shotgun to create a hole and start sending him Hellfire.
Dream certainly trying his best to pepper some shots off, and does get a little bit of damage going, but not the kill he was looking for, more than likely, out of that situation. Good denial coming in on the impact. That does destroy one of the breaches here. Foxy is also going to be able to kill Mark on a potential hop out there, and Foxy follows it up with another one from his actual gun, taking down Jarvis. It's not looking good for Tempo right now. Crazy Creators and Dream have to find some way to swing this back, but they're very quickly losing all control of the map that they have for themselves. Vertical with another one now takes out Creators, and they've already got their sights set on another player here. Dream trying to dodge it, but it's not going to work out. Oxygen seal the deal with a flawless round and take definite control of this matchup in 2-0 fashion, taking down Tempo Storm and winning today, putting them forward further into the league.
Okay, so do you want the fun stat, or do you want the not so fun stat?
Let's hear the not so fun stat. I like anti-fun. I'm a big fan of that.
You're anti-fun. Well, the anti-fun stat is Tempo Storm in the last 2 series have not won enough rounds to win a single map. That's the not so fun stat.
That's very anti-fun.
The fun stat, though, is Oxygen's back. They're looking really good, full of life. Foxy playing so well as opposed to the last Tempo series. And overall, Oxygen, what a showing from them. Tempo Storm seem to somehow still be wounded, not as badly as they were on their last series, but definitely not the same tempo that we saw 3 weeks ago.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for Stokes and myself for the evening. Don't go anywhere just yet, though, as we're going to take it over to the analysis desk to break down this final match. And of course, as usual, have some words with our winners. Take it away, Jackie.
All right, thanks so much, Blue and Stokes, and OXG dominating, crushing Tempo into. I'm Jackie Jing. I'm with Veli and Jesse, and gentlemen, let's go through the highlights here. But yeah, that was kind of hard to watch sometimes. Just gonna be real.
Jackie, what do we call one-sided highlights?
I don't know.
They're
Our
montages.
producer talked when you were talking. I'm sorry. Oh yes, montages. Yeah, I was like, I have no idea what you just said to me. I'm sorry. Yes. Tempo, not the best performance from them, and we were really hoping that they were going to be stepping it up after that awful TSM match, but this looks like a repeat of that.
Some people, you know, hope for a lot of things. You know, I hope that I win $1 million on the lottery one day. Some people hope to find the love of their lives. Tempo, they hope to win a map after what happened against TSM. And, we don't always get what we want, right, Jackie? So, after watching this game, Jesse and I was talking about this, and honestly, Tempo's not bad. This isn't a bad roster. These aren't scrubs. These aren't bums. This is a team that they beat Oxygen, rightfully so, right? Yeah. I believe they could beat anybody out there. They're just not... Something just isn't clicking with their new play style.
Away
okay,
with
I forgot
that.
I had this up. So
Get away with that.
Listen, I'm keeping this up, man. It's sad boy hours, okay? Sad boy hours, because Tempo Storm, we all believed in them after that first game against Oxygen. It's the same old story, Jackie.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't even want to talk about Tempo Storm anymore. That was just...
Let's talk about Oxygen.
Yes, let's talk
Yes.
about Oxygen.
Sure.
We heard it from Stokes. Foxay stepping up, Laxing killing it like he always does. Jesse, let's talk about what Foxay and OXG were doing right.
Yeah.
I mean, they were having fun with it, They weren't afraid to go get their kills, and I think they kind of played pretty aggressive. The couple of rounds where they were losing, it seemed like maybe they were taking it a little bit too easy. I'm thinking round 6 in particular, where Fox is running, like, jumping out of the skylight, jump off, and he's going to throw up that C4, and it's like, well, is that the best play right now? Probably not. But a lot of these rounds, it was like Laxing is running around, having a good time, he's going for peaks, and he's getting kills. Or Fox is running around, going for peaks and kills. Or Vertical, up top is, like, just peeking angles and getting kills. I mean, it's hard to boil things down to that, but there were a lot of just, like, Tempo Storm looked lost, and I think Oxygen did a really good job of taking advantage of that. I talked about this in the TSM match. I'm going to repeat it now. The first map was more so Oxygen playing well, and Tempo Storm maybe just losing their footing. But the second map, it's like that mental game falls away from them, and Tempo Storm really are not fully there. And it's so sad, because we know, even from stage 1, even from the first matchup, that this team should be better, but they're not showing up.
I mean... What is happening with Tempo Storm? They have like a team psychologist, and there was a lot on the line here. I mean, now OXG is safe from relegation. They're going to the US Finals. I mean, this wasn't a match to scoff at. So, I mean, I'm not trying to pick on Tempo Storm here, though, but it's just like, it seems like there is definitely, this isn't just a skill thing. This isn't just a strat thing. This seems like there's some sort of like mental breakdown happening there.
In all seriousness. Jesse, what's the name of that sports psychologist?
Matt Wolf, I believe is his name.
Matt Wolf. He's their psychologist, right? I feel like they need to, Tempo Storm is the organization. They got to send Matt Wolf a blank check and say, listen, put any amount on here. We need to get it together. Well, that stat line isn't pretty. Dream, we love Dream. Creators did an amazing job, but you know what? Bad performances happen in losing ways. So, I mean, this is expected. Someone's going to have an ugly stat line, right? But on the other end, Oxygen, looking good. I love the way they're looking good. But this is where it messes me up. Is this Oxygen just being better just because, or is this Tempo really starting to implode? And, you asked the question, what's going on with them? I personally think is something just small that has to do with the game plan or something. For instance, when Vertical was in that corner and got the 2K, Mark is smarter than that. Mark is better than that. Mark isn't just going to wide peek Vert, not pre-fire, and not try to get that kill. If you know Vert is specifically in that corner, which Mark knew, you pre-fire that. You secure that kill, and it's just the small things like that that lets me know something is seriously wrong. They're not in it all the way. And it's looking sad. They're going out sad, and they're better than that. Relegation is around the corner, and they need to pick it up fast.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And they're going to have to talk to Mr. Wolf and sort some things out for sure. But gentlemen, we actually have Foxay on deck. Foxay, how are you feeling? That's a great win for y'all.
I'm great. I'll just let everyone know right now, I'm gonna be very blunt this interview. So for one, Belly, you give way too much credit to Tempo. Those guys suck. Doesn't matter how many coaches they could get 85. Lightning doesn't strike twice. Like, those guys had the confidence of a lifetime just to get slapped by one run by TSM. Like, I just want to say, like, I apologize to the TSM players, the TSM organization. I'm sorry, we should have never let them get past us to just waste your time like that. That was ridiculous. And, like, I don't know, like, all of them tweeting like they won Invitational, like, after one game. Like, get back to the drawing board, man. Like, they're doing the minimum to just, like, stay in the same spot. Picked up Jarvis, good play, whatever.
Harsh words from Foxay. All right, laying it down harshly there. Let's talk about the positives here. I'm sure that y'all are feeling pretty good. You're safe from relegation. You're going to the U.S. Finals. This probably feels great to bounce back like this, right?
I mean, absolutely. As you can see, the first time we played them, I actually did pretty bad, and we found out that a big reason was the resolution I was using. So I was on 4-3, switch to 16-10, 16-10's GOAT. And also the ace. Those guys really relied on ace. So we decided to take crazy off of ace and dream off of ace. And I mean, yeah, our game plan just worked out, and that's just how it was.
I can sense that you are fired up, and definitely a fabulous performance from yourself. So talk to me about how y'all turned it around. I mean, what did you say to yourself? What were you saying to your teammates?
For one, leading up, I guess, losing the tempo, we were kind of having an internal struggle of how we wanted to play. And I feel like we've been able to figure out the inconsistencies and be able to focus on the things that we need to be better as a team together, especially with our coaching staff. You know, if everyone wants to talk about coaching staffs, I think our coaching staff with Redeem and Hopes is probably one of the best in the league, in the game. So just with their help, we're able to kind of look at what needed to be improved, and I think so far there's been a drastic change on how we play, you know, the maps we play, and just how we take our preparation.
Well, we're definitely happy to see the success for all of you. You know, without question, there are some doubters out there. Do you think that OXG still has what it takes to be the best in the US?
I mean, we're definitely a top team. Obviously, there's going to be hiccups with how we perform, and just depending on the day. Obviously, some days some people show up, some people don't. But I think the top 4 for this season, with DZ, TSM, SSG, and us, I think it's the same as last season. No changes. I want to give a big props to United. Those guys have actually been playing pretty well. As for going forward with the top 4 of this bracket, now it's just going to be about preparation, getting ready for for the teams, and just kind of getting some new stuff ready, and just practicing this kind of new play style, or this new way that we're thinking.
Well, awesome performance from you tonight and your team. So go enjoy that victory, and thanks so much for chatting with us. Fired up. I like it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Veli, never pick a team like that over us again.
Oh my God, thank you, Foxy. Let's bring it back to the analyst desk. Veli. Oh man, I put you in the hot seat.
No,
Foxy,
no. That is what
you're on
Rainbow
fire,
Six
boy.
needs. You know what it is? People come out the door politically correct on everything they say. Sports, esports, whatever it is. And I'm just gonna say that's for the birds. It's 2020. Now is now. Foxy was straight up. That's what a competitor does. He said, no disrespect to Tempo, the staff, or whatever. Y'all can have 30 coaches, but we're better than you, and you're not gonna take that away from us. And for someone that can speak with that type of confidence, Foxy was fired up. That's what I love. That's what makes esports great. That's what makes Rainbow Six great. So
I love to see it.
Oh, I love it. He didn't cross the line either, which is what I respect.
No disrespect.
Yes.
But he disrespected Veli. He just called him out.
No. That was a real recognized rule. That was him. Veli, we the real deal now. Don't you ever count us out against a team like that. I respect it, man. Speak up.
He clapped back.
Yes.
He clapped
you
back.
You know what it is,
Veli?
Jackie? This has to be said.
Know.
This has to be said. And for anyone out there that ever thinks that me, you, Jesse, or the casters, or anybody are mean whenever we criticize something, just understand they can always shut us up by doing better. And that's what Foxy did. Any of the doubters out
100%.
there, he shut everybody the hell up. So I love it. I want more of it.
Oh my
I'm hyped
God.
right now, yo.
I know. He did. He got me hyped too. I mean, he had a great performance, and they're obviously fired up. But
Yes.
we got to get to the Corsair play of the day. Jesse, what are you thinking?
I don't know. I mean, I think Laxing and Fox have 1 million play of the days.
They
in
were
that
just
last
killing
map. Should be one of those. Yeah, we'll see. It could also be that shutdown of the 4K that we saw earlier today.
Rexen.
Was it Hyper shutting down
Hyper.
Rexen? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably
Ooh,
I'm gonna
yeah.
stick one of those two.
Okay, let's see it. Let's roll the Corsair play of the day. And let's see if Jesse, Big Brain, got it right.
Let's see.
Zero? Oh my goodness, look at me go.
Look at the Rexen.
Look at me
The
go.
Rexen doing the Rexen
Look at the
things.
Rexen.
He's
Rexen
so
just
good.
Rexen.
Yeah.
Get it? Like wrecking, but
You know what?
alright, I'm gonna stop.
That's fine. No.
Stop.
Shout out
He's
to
nuts,
Hyper.
dude.
But the shots and the level of difficulty, especially on the 3rd and 4th kill, where Rexen got those, ridiculous. I said it on Twitter. I'm gonna say it on broadcast. It is a crime that players like Rexen were in Challenger League for so long. There's so much more talent out there, and to see Rexen come out of Challenger League when nobody gave him a shot, a performance like that against Dark Zero, people need to open their eyes. Players are getting out there, and Rainbow Six is just starting.
Yeah, he's a huge pickup.
Indeed. Yes, huge pickup. Man, that was such a great matchup today. And really quickly, why don't we go over the bracket and break down what we saw in Group B and Group A. And let's start off with Group B, I believe, and break down everything that we saw. Jesse, I'll put you in the hot seat for this one.
Wonderful. Well, Group B,
Yay.
we just saw it. Tempo Storm ended up losing. That means they're going to finish 3rd. Better than Disrupt because they did win their opening game, but still the bottom 2 will be sent down to that Group B in Phase 2, the losers group. TSM and Oxygen, I think the expected teams for a lot of people, eventually do make it through on their own, and they'll be joining the other top 2 teams in Group A for Phase 2.
All right, Group A. Valley.
Group A, it is what it is, and it's what we pretty much expected at the beginning of the season, right? Space Station Gaming, they're going to be on top, and we were upset to see Dark Zero fall the way they did against Space Station Gaming. I personally don't feel like that was both of them with their A game going at each other. But Dark Zero, they got the second chance against the United. They squeaked out a win 2-1. Great clutches, an amazing matchup. I didn't expect it to be that close, but United, they fell after 3 very close maps. So now we have the top 4. Space Station Gaming and Dark Zero going to be coming in from Group A.
All right, thanks for breaking that down, gentlemen. And let's take a look at the schedule. Man, Monday. Action-packed, y'all. Whew, we saw some great matches today. But Wednesday, everybody, mark your calendars. I'm excited for this. SSG versus OXG. That's going to be a real good one. And man, E United has been looking fire. And they're going to be playing Disrupt for our second matchup on Wednesday. So again, please make sure you join us. 3 p.m. Some awesome matches scheduled for us. But all right,
We
ladies
have to
and
say it
gentlemen.
though, Jackie.
What?
Before you was gonna throw, I was gonna say the last time we saw Oxygen in Space Station Gaming, that game was a banger. Like, it was actually one of the most exciting games I've seen. Top 2 in my opinion. So make sure you guys tune in. Tell your friends, tell your mama, retweet it, do whatever you can. Let's get this stream popping.
Yeah,
I'm
spread
ready,
the
y'all.
love.
Ready for Wednesday.
For real. Just hopefully.
Yes.
Well, hopefully or hopefully not, Canadian tweet something at bio, because we know that it's gonna be game over, right?
Yes.
But obviously a big thank you to Jesse and Veli. I love you, my analyst. You're the best. Lots of love to our casters. Fantastic job tonight. And also so much love for our crew. They are grinding all the time. Love the crew. And so much love for all of you. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget, Wednesday, join us again. Veli's going to be there. Jesse's going to be there. The whole crew. And we really want to see you again. So make sure you're there on Wednesday. We'll see you all soon. Have a wonderful evening. Bye, everybody. Don't forget to follow us on social media.